Honey, what's wrong?
I got in an accident.
Are you okay?
I don't know.
Okay, did you call the police yet?
Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna call an advocate and you can tell us both at the same time, okay?
Hey, Sarah, your dad told me that you need help.
So, is there anything that I need to do, or...?
Just focus on getting better.
With an advocate on your side, you're never alone.
Today's the day! And look who I just met.
Hey, Dad.
You deserve a worry-free recovery. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, Friday, February 21st, 2025. The Four Nations tournament dominated. And I think I am comfortably saying the Four Nations hockey tournament changed professional sports forever. And I sit before you this morning bequeathed about the awesomeness that was the Four Nations tournament. Everybody's talking about it. They're not talking about Greg Sankey being a scumbag who's destroying college football. That conversation's been pushed to the side.
Right.
You know, the Monty Show, as always, presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, serving you the way you need to be served. I think it is, you know, I love the commercials that we run for the Advocates because you see, hey, I've been in a car accident. I'm in the emergency room. I'm at the hospital. I'm bedridden. They're going to get on a Zoom call, a FaceTime. They're going to come and see you in person, whatever you need, however you need to be served so you can get back to the best version of yourself. Trust me when I say you cannot fight your insurance company. You cannot fight the at-fault party's insurance company. The Advocates can because they do it every single day, and they do it better than anybody else. That's why you get to theadvocates.com where you get clear, risk-free advice. And you never have to reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates because you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Chat with an injury attorney live online for free at theadvocates.com. I just am amazed at this Four Nations tournament. I stayed up super late to watch it. I was happy to do it. I think it was scintillating. It was disappointing. We lost. But isn't that what made this tournament special? That's what made this tournament special. And when you look at the political ecosystem in this country right now, how often is it that we all come
US
together?
Americans.
How often do we U.S. Americans come together? Not often. How often are we on the same side of the line? Not often. Almost never. Last night was one of those moments. Last night, a collective continent, North America, tuned in to one singular event. Hockey fan or not, Four Nations is what's right with professional sports. And I'm certain that this morning people are going to say I'm taking it too far. I think the Four Nations tournament changed professional sports forever. And get it right. The NHL gave up their all-star game for this event. They saw it down the road and said, we're not going to have an all-star game in 2025. We are going to have the Four Nations tournament. Let me explain for those of you who don't know, because I know not many of you are hockey fans like I am. These were all NHL players. This tournament was governed by the NHL, the National Hockey League. This tournament was so important to the players that these players sacrificed NHL game time. When they return this weekend, there's at least 6 or 8 players who are injured and will not play when the NHL season resumes this weekend. It meant that much to them that Matthew Tkachuk for Team USA, one of our best players, got 7 minutes of ice time total last night. That's not a lot. because he has some sort of hip and groin injury. And he tried to play through it. And he's going to miss significant NHL time to do it, to play in the Four Nations tournament. That's what it means. That's what it meant. That's what it's about. And I don't think there's any other sport right now, save maybe European soccer. I don't think there's any other sport right now who can match that intensity and the unique and special nature of the Four Nations tournament.
Yeah, and I think it all comes down to the players caring. You know, I think that's the biggest challenge when you look at sports that are global. Is, you know, in hockey they all care. They all take it super seriously, and hockey players are just built different. We know this. You know, obviously we've talked about it for years, and I think it's really unfortunate because, you know, the dynamic that's created in hockey, just, you know, by, you know, the fact that you're on an ice rink, you're skating, you're playing for your country, like the simplicity of the sport is, I feel like what makes it so good, you know. And the hard part is that, you know, other commissioners looking at this are not going to be able to replicate what they were able to do here, because ultimately, like, the NFL is not a global game, in my opinion. You're not playing. You don't have football leagues overseas that are comparable to the NFL, right? You just don't have that. The NBA, they want to tell you it's a global game. There are leagues overseas that are, you know, great basketball leagues, but the reality of the situation is that basketball players don't take it as seriously. They're not as, like, you know, I'm not going to say they don't care, but the way that hockey players go about it is just so, you know, intentional, and they take it so seriously, and it means so much to them that you're able to create an exhibition tournament that means literally nothing on paper and make it mean everything in the real world. And that's what it, to me, is incredible. You know, you have this Team USA storyline where, you know, you've beaten Canada, you know, you beat your biggest rival, you got to the championship game, only to have that rival come back and play the game of their life and have, you know, Bennington go crazy in OT and do all that. And ultimately, it's just one of those things where it's like, man, this is why hockey is great. And I don't know, it'll be really interesting to see, like, what the NHL does, you know, to follow up on this. How does the NHL kind of take advantage of this momentum and build on this, you know, and how do you parlay this viewership that I'm assuming is going to be really good for this championship game and get that into the Stanley Cup playoffs? That's what you need to do. And my only question is, how do other sports do anything like this? Because in the NBA, all we hear about is, oh, these guys want load management and they're not as serious about, you know, playing as much as, like, you've got a Kachuk brother sitting on the bench watching his brother play the whole game, and he's dying to get out there and camp because he's essentially skating on one leg and half a groin. Like, that's how much these guys care. So I just don't know how, you know, specifically the NBA, because I think it's the most comparable in terms of global dynamics, but any other league is going to be able to do this.
They shouldn't try, because hockey is special. Hockey is unique. Most people will not watch hockey at this level ever again. You won't tune in with this much intensity ever again. And I don't know that we'll ever have, if the Four Nations tournament continues, I don't know that we'll ever have this level of intensity ever again. I think we watched something historic. The other thing we have to stop doing is ripping LeBron James because of the Four Nations tournament. We need to stop trying to compare the NBA to the Four Nations tournament. Is it a shot over the NBA bow? Yeah, I mean, if you want to draw that line. Is Adam Silver failing as a commissioner? Yes. Is Gary Bettman all of a sudden the greatest commissioner ever? No. But that's the guy who should be worried about the Four Nations tournament, is Adam Silver, because Adam Silver has some weird obsession with tournaments, in-season tournaments, play-in tournaments, one-on-one tournaments. Like, can we just play the East versus the West? Can we just play the USA versus the world format in the All-Star game? Can we stop trying to turn the All-Star game into a hip-hop club where we play a bunch of tournaments and nobody watches? Let's just have All-Star Saturday night with a dunk contest and a three-point shootout. and then come back Sunday afternoon and play the NBA All-Star game at 3 Eastern.
Yeah.
Between the East and the West or the U.S. and the world. Okay, great. You're welcome. Free advice right here on the Monty Show.
I know, rocket science.
It's not that complex. But we've got to stop, and we love doing this in sports. Just because guys in the NHL play injured in the Four Nations Cup doesn't mean that it's LeCap and Old Fart and all the other ripping that's going on with LeBron James. LeBron James last night put up a virtuoso-type performance. Another unbelievable 40 at 40 that it's history. We're watching history. Yet it's not good enough because LeBron didn't play in the All-Star game because he was hurt. But look at this player who is, going through this injury in the Four Nations tournament. They're not similar. They're not like each other. The NBA All-Star game is horrendously flawed and broken. And if that's the rail you want to ride on, please do so. But stop ripping LeBron James because the Four Nations tournament was amazing. You're fighting the wrong fight. In fact, you're fighting yourself, because I don't believe that anybody else in the world thinks LeBron's soft because the Four Nations tournament had hockey players playing injured. There is nothing in the NBA that compares to the intensity level of what we saw in the Four Nations with the USA versus Canada.
Yeah, and I think the hard part is I would agree. I don't think it's LeBron's fault, like, per se, that the All-Star game format and the All-Star weekend sucks. Like, it's not LeBron's fault that they can't get great NBA players to go out and show Mac McClung what a real NBA best players in the world dunking competition looks like, with all due respect to him. Like, you're talking about allegedly the best basketball league in the world.
Not allegedly.
Well,
it is.
Well,
let's not get too carried away.
You're trying to defend the NBA, and I'm telling you that they have a viewership problem. They have a viewership problem because the best players in the world no longer compete in the dunk contest. The best players in the world don't care about the All-Star weekend. They just kind of show up, and the All-Star game is not anything like it used to be.
But that doesn't mean that the NBA is not the best league in the world. That means the All-Star game's flawed and broken. That means that Adam Silver's not doing a good job as a commissioner right now. That doesn't mean that, and we do this when we talk. I always say, take your emotions out of it. The NBA is the best basketball league on the planet, and it is not a conversation. There's not one you would rather watch. There's not one where the game is more quality. You're not getting the best players in the world in any other league but the NBA. This is an NBA all-star problem. And for the jamokes and the hyenas who want to rip LeBron James, should LeBron play in a meaningless all-star game that nobody's watching, or should he try to get healthy so the Lakers can actually make the playoffs? I think he should rest and try to get healthy so the Lakers can make the playoffs. That's the problem with the All-Star game. Nobody needs the All-Star game. But you look at the Four Nations tournament. Am I the only one who thinks that the heat in the Four Nations tournament between USA and Canada is because there's actual real world heat between the USA and Canada? Because for some reason we're trying to wreck their country and make it another one of our states, which is ridiculous. You think that the fights, the Kachucks talked about the fact that the only reason they had those fights in the previous Canada-USA game was because they were chanting, F Trump, and they were booing the national anthem, and the American players wanted to prove a point. Were there fights last night? No, there were not. It was a championship game. But my point is there any of that vitriol in the NBA All-Star game? No. So how all of a sudden is the NBA a flawed league?
Because I just don't think that there's heat overall. I don't think that, I don't think that there's, what's the storyline in the NBA? LeBron's legacy right now? I mean, I think that would be one of the top storylines,
Yes.
Watching LeBron I mean, I don't know how many years he has left. Probably, I hope he's got 2 or 3 years left. That's my hope. But the reality is we don't know. And my point is like, we're sitting here talking about NBA, the NBA having, and again, it's not just unique to the All-Star weekend, but the All-Star weekend's front and center because of the time of year we're in. The NBA is not seeing great viewership across the board, and the All-Star weekend is not helping that, obviously. And so my main point is that the NBA doesn't have like great storylines right now. Like you got to work hard, I feel like, to figure out, okay, well, what, on any given night, like what should I be watching in the NBA? What is my, what's the thing? Outside of just being a fan of whatever your team is, and maybe that's why you're watching. Like it used to be, hey, like it's Kobe and this guy going at it, or it used to be like even Bron in Miami, right? Like Bron in Miami with that trio was must watch basically every single night because you knew you were always going to get, some kind of great show, and you were always going to get awesome dunks, and like there was just a reason to watch. And so my point is that yeah, Adam Silver is not helping things. He hasn't been a great commissioner, in my opinion. And they have to figure out how to get the NBA back front and center.
I think the biggest issue is the players on the court. We are in with all due respect, you don't have dynamic personalities that are young players. Victor Wembanyama out for the year. Nobody wants to talk to Victor Wembanyama because the guy can't speak.
But and I agree with that. But if you take that one step further, everyone said, hey, like when this guy comes into the league from France, he's the freak, he's an alien, he's going to be incredible and take over the league.
But nobody's tuning in to watch Victor Wembanyama because he's not a dynamic personality. Why are you watching? Again, it's the difference in hockey and the NBA. In hockey, I don't give a rat's ass what the Kachuk brothers have to say. Go score goals and punch people in the face.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You don't care. In the NBA, they don't wear helmets. It's those guys, right? And it's no different than the SEC and the Big Ten versus the world. You hate the Lakers because they traded for Luka Doncic.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there are storylines. The issue is we are in a generation of stars that are not dynamic personalities and who don't play every night. In the NHL, and the reason that this Four Nations tournament is being lauded as one of the greatest sporting events of the last decade, and I think it is,
right?
It's because they all wanted to be there. There was something to play for. It's what you play for in the NBA and what you play for in hockey is very different.
Totally agree.
It's just so ripping the NBA because of the Four Nations tournament tells me you don't understand hockey at all. That's what it tells me. The reason that hockey is special and unique is because of things like the Four Nations tournament. Because they play to win that tournament, and they're going to give their entire body and heart and soul to do it. In the NBA, there's nothing like that to play for. It's the Olympics. They do that for the Olympics once every 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, again, the anti-LeBron people and the people who always seem to have a political storyline against the NBA want to say that LeBron's soft or LeBron shouldn't have been at the All-Star game and he should have given up his spot. Tell me you don't know anything about the NBA or basketball when you tell me he should have given up his spot. Like, it just tells me that you don't know the culture of the NBA. There is no All-Star game without LeBron James. Period. Part of what makes him so special is he's still arguably the best player in the NBA. I said to you, who's the best player in the NBA? It's not a guy who doesn't speak English and Victor Wembanyama. No, it's LeBron James probably.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think the NBA's biggest problem is nobody cares what VW has to say. You're only there. If you're tuning in to see VW, you just want to see him on the basketball court.
You can't be attached to Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, there's no way to. It's the Mike Trout syndrome, right? Like you can look across sports and there's all these guys who are incredible athletes and incredible at what they do and put on a show in the game, but there's nothing that ties you to it off the court. And I think the hard part is that I mean, I understand on some level, like people, criticizing the way LeBron, handled not playing this year, like showing up the night before and saying, hey, like, this is like people would have preferred if he'd have said, hey, like, hey, a week out or 4 days out or whatever, like just giving the NBA more time to backfill that spot. But ultimately, again, it's not a LeBron problem. The problem is that and this is kind of what we always get to on the show is like, I don't have to watch All-Star Weekend to know what went down on All-Star Weekend right now. Like, I don't feel any type of commitment to watch the dunk contest because what am I getting? And again, it's no shade towards Mac McClung. The guy's story is incredible.
3-peat in the dunk contest.
Like, give him a lot of credit, right? But that's the best we have to offer right now. We can't get more guys to, like, the NBA hasn't been able to find a way to get the best talent in the NBA, not the G League, the NBA, to participate in the dunk contest. Because again, and you're more fortunate than I am. You grew up in the heyday, right? You got to watch Michael Jordan in the dunk contest.
But
dude.
again,
like
you're helping me. You're not hurting me. Do you understand how different the NBA was Listen, I was at LeBron's first game. I've told this story. I'm in one of the most famous photos in LeBron's repertoire, right? Like, I was at his first game. What I'm trying to tell you is pre-LeBron was very different than post-LeBron. Very different. There was no social media. There were no brands. There were no multi-billion-dollar athletes. LeBron James is a billionaire business entity. He's not an athlete. He's not a guy. He's an entity. It wasn't like that before. So you could be in the dunk contest, and if you turned an ankle or you hurt yourself, or it didn't matter if you broke your wrist dunking. You're out a few months. Okay, great. We'll see you next year.
But doesn't the NBA have to find a way through that? I
No.
mean, like,
what the NBA has to do is develop stars again. And the hard part is Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg's a perfect example of this. Anybody notice that everybody's like, oh, Victor Wembanyama's out for the year, deep vein thrombosis, essentially a blood clot in his shoulder. So now instead of trying to make the play-in tournament, which I think we all agree, the Spurs were trying to make the play-in tournament with the De'Aaron trade.
mm-hmm.
Now what are they focused on? The lottery. That's what they're focused on. They're focused on Cooper Flagg. So Cooper Flagg has said, well, a year from now, I could still be in college. I love the college lifestyle. He's making a F ton of money. That's the problem with the NBA. He's dynamic. And again, we can sit here and you can tell me I'm wrong. He's white. He's dynamic. He's dominant. He's an amazing basketball player. He's going to be a generational talent in the NBA. And he doesn't necessarily want to go to the NBA because he's making so much money in college.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Matt Leinart. Remember Matt Leinart back in the, you don't. Matt Leinart had all the hotties in a hot tub, and he was like, why am I going to the NFL when I can have hotties in the hot tub and somebody else will do my homework for me? Why would Cooper Flagg leave Duke any sooner than he has to? Because he's making more money than he's going to make on his rookie deal.
Yeah.
So the problem is not LeBron James, you jackwagons who are obsessed with hating LeBron James. The problem is the 20-something, like, who are the young stars in the NBA? Anthony Edwards. It's telling Barack Obama last week, I am him. No, you're not. Nobody knows who Anthony Edwards is as a personality. Is Anthony Edwards somebody that you're like, damn, I got to watch that Anthony Edwards interview? No, you're not. No, you're not. No, he's not. Who is that guy? Who's the reigning NBA champion? Got to be the Boston Celtics. Is Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown like, man, I got to hear that interview? No, we don't have dynamic young stars. We need the next generation of talent to be dynamic, to be personalitied, to be... do you really think about Steph Curry and what he's doing off the court?
No.
Do you think about what Victor Wembanyama is doing off the court? Do you think about, no, the answer is no. Who is that gravitational star in the NBA? I don't know. Do you think about what Kevin Durant's doing off the court? No. They're invisible.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I'm not saying you're wrong about any of this. My big thing is that like your point is that, hey, like guys don't want to risk getting hurt in a dunk contest or like, in All-Star weekend, whatever it might be, right? The game, dunk contest, whatever.
Yep.
And my main point is that I don't know, maybe I just don't get this as well, but like I like, so if Michael Jordan in his day, before social media and at that time in history, was willing to go and do a dunk contest and and go out and compete with the best dunkers in the league, right? You would agree those were at that time, the Dominique Wilkins of the world, like those are the best athletes the NBA had at that time, the freakest of athletes. At that time, you were willing to do that, but now when guys are making more money than they've ever made, and I would agree, Bron and guys, the best players in the NBA are brands unto themselves, of course. I guess it surprises me that guys don't at all value having at least one. Like Anthony Edwards it might be the best example. He's one of the best dunkers in the NBA, and yet like it doesn't seem like there's any emphasis to go out and show out. And again, I would point to dudes like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine all those years ago, who gave us one of the best dunk contests in the modern day in NBA history. Like, so my point just is I get it. Dudes can't get hurt all the time. I understand.
But what is the incentive?
That's my point. There's no reason for them to do it right now.
Why did Michael Jordan win multiple dunk contests? Because it was him and Dominique, and they were it's things we had never seen before. Everybody can dunk. But again, the issue in our country is we are so divided. LeBron James, there's not a conservative in this country who wants to hear from LeBron James. It's the shut up and dribble thing. So why would he put himself in a dunk contest? Forget the injury stuff.
Now he wouldn't.
But just think about it. If you're Anthony Edwards, why are you putting yourself in a dunk contest? Are you going to win $1 million? Yeah. Do you care? No. You don't. They make so much money already. We've created a situation in the NBA where there's no heat or vitriol.
Yeah.
There's no reason for these guys to compete. Their contracts are fully guaranteed. It's a mistake. It is a culture issue, and it's why I point to Cooper Flagg. Cooper Flagg can be that unifying thing that the NBA so desperately needs, because the conservative side of the line will watch Cooper Flagg. He is white. He is dynamic. He is a brand. And I have never run from the idea that race is a huge problem for the NBA. I don't think there's any question about it.
And it's really interesting too, because it's kind of unique to the NBA. We don't really deal with this in like, Major League Baseball or the NFL, certainly.
And look how pissed people were about the Black Lives Matter stuff during COVID. Look how pissed people were about the fact that a lot of NBA players were in marches, and it's a different world. The Four Nations tournament has nothing to do with the NBA other than to say the NBA has a culture problem because their players are comfortable and they are not motivated, and the NBA All-Star game is meaningless.
Yeah. And I don't know how you fix that.
I don't know how you fix that.
That's the real question, is like, again, like I don't know how you fix that. And, you see, I think it might have been Kevin Garnett, like 2 weeks ago, maybe there was a clip going around of him talking about the fact that dudes aren't playing enough. And this is how, you force owners into trying to get out of guaranteed contracts in the NBA. And like, and I don't disagree with that. I mean, if you're an owner in the league right now, as much as I hate what the Jazz are not doing right now, like they're not trying to win, I gotta say, like, there's not a lot of incentive to win in the NBA right now. Like, I give like Golden State as an example, just an example. The Lakers, of course, you know, a lot of credit for going out. The Knicks, a lot of credit for going out, you know, and spending a lot of money to try to win. They don't have to be doing that. And that I think is the bigger, like, the umbrella issue in the league, is that there's no real reason to go out and try to win. And when you combine that with, to your point, players not being incentivized to kind of, I mean, I almost feel bad saying this, but it doesn't seem like the millennial generation in the league right now cares about their legacy as much. Like, you don't really see, like,
they don't care about there is no legacy.
But that's my point. That if they cared about that, you would have better dunk competitions. You would care about, you know, the whole picture in the NBA, because that's what. How did Jordan become? You know, like, how did the Jordan brand push forward? One of the most iconic pictures in Jordan history is him dunking in the dunk contest.
Yeah, it's my banner photo on Twitter.
Right? Like that.
How is Steph Curry? How is Steph Curry not in the 3-point contest? Who won the 3-point contest this year? Tyler Hero.
Right?
You didn't know that.
But to that point, how many times has Steph been in the 3-point contest, won a 3-point contest,
8,
and now just doesn't feel the need to do it? And I don't blame the guy. Like, I don't blame you for that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really nice not to be talking college football.
Yeah. A.
B, I think the Four Nations tournament was scintillating.
Will you watch more NHL hockey off of the Four Nations? Like, if you weren't a hockey fan and you watched Four Nations last night, you know.
I'm really disappointed the Blackhawks won't be home for us when we're in Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I would go. I am a passionate hockey fan. I think you all know that. We never talk about hockey on the show because it doesn't have mass appeal. And then something like the Four Nations tournament happens, and Jimmy in the SIP is turning on the TV to watch it.
Right.
Right. That's what. And when we talk about politics and sports and how closely aligned they are, and guy who's like, stick to sports, fat ass. Tell me again that politics and sports don't run right next to each other. We had wholesale ass whoopings in the Four Nations tournament in the first Canada-USA game over politics. It had nothing to do with hockey, had nothing to do with anything other than they had a maple leaf on their chest and we're going to go and kick their ass.
Yeah.
That's all it was. Oh, Monty, stick to sports, politics. We're sticking to sports.
I mean, I just think it runs right through the conversation, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I understand if, you know, if you're stick to sports guy and you know, you want to make that case in the NBA or NFL or whatever. Okay. But there's no getting away from it in this hockey tournament. Like, you're not getting away from the fact that watching this game last night, like you can just see it all over these guys' faces. You can see it in the, like, dude, there was a video last night after the national anthems were done of the build, like literally the whole building singing the national anthem to the point where it was essentially drowning out the gal who was singing it. And it's just like, you just begin to understand that if you're at that game, like, you're not there just to watch a hockey game. You're there because there's sense of country. There's a lot of pride. Like,
they're not having the NHL All-Star game this year.
Yeah.
For the Four Nations tournament. And it was better for the sport.
Yeah.
I don't know. The politics thing is interesting. I don't know if you guys agree or not. I think politics in the NBA and this moment in the NHL, certainly in the Olympics, I think they go hand in hand.
It's not like I've died to watch the NHL All-Star weekend in past years. I'm not like, I mean, I like it. I think it's better than a lot of All-Star weekends. Like, it's definitely better than the NFL, in my opinion. Like, you know, it most years is better than the NBA. I'm a baseball fan, so I would have baseball ahead of it just because I enjoy baseball personally. But, like, I appreciated that they took, because it was a risk ultimately, like you said earlier. Like, they saw this way in advance. They took a big risk, and, you know, again, you know, the whole politics thing. The Russians weren't in this tournament, and if there was a Russian team, we probably would be having a different conversation about who won this tournament.
I don't think so.
Dude,
that's just my opinion.
The goaltending the Russians have, the skill player, like, anyway,
yeah.
The point
don't murder people and never mind. No. my point is the Russians don't belong in anything. But when I look at, I think one of the most important parts of this Four Nations tournament and what needs to be said, Connor McDavid, who is the greatest hockey player in the world, in my opinion, and one of my favorite players. If he doesn't play in this tournament, what good is it? What good is it? If the Kachucks don't play for the U.S., what good is it? If people weren't lambasting Jordan Binnington, who then turned around and made 4 of the greatest saves I've ever seen in a game of consequence, what good is it? You have the biggest names. Sidney Crosby has an elbow injury that essentially means he cannot use one of his arms. And he's still on the ice, playing heavy minutes, not missing a shift. If he doesn't play, what good is it? The biggest names in the NHL were on the ice last night and have been throughout this entire tournament. It's what we're missing in the NBA. And frankly, it's what we're missing in bowl season.
Yeah.
In college football. Because dudes don't play in your mom's battery case bowl game. You take that for what it's worth. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the comment section. Let's see what you guys think. We checked McDavid into another universe last game and he returned the favor. Stellar hockey. You rarely see people putting a body on Connor McDavid.
Yeah.
And I thought it was interesting. And I think they made the point on the broadcast last night. I was really curious. What was the first line that Canada was going to put on the ice? Well, it was a skill line. This was a hockey game from the jump. It wasn't a street fight.
Yeah.
And I thought that mattered. I think that's exactly right. I think that's exactly right. Force Ghost Fabio. Let's see how stupid you are today. You can't call yourself a hockey champion without playing Russia. Sure you can. We just did it. And I don't think anybody even argues it. So tell me again, you don't know anything about you're a hot take guy who doesn't know the NBA and certainly clearly by this comment tells me you don't know hockey. So McDavid's overrated. Yeah, just the best player in the world. Overrated. Nobody is hungry enough. Everyone is too buddy. We need OKC version of Westbrook, the Morris twins. I have high hopes for Paolo and Franz. Dude, I agree 100%.
So how many people even know who Paolo and Franz are?
Not many.
Like,
he's talking about my guy Paulo Banchero and the Orlando Magic and Franz Wagner.
Yeah, like Lakers Magic in the Kobe days was incredible.
What we need is the reset from the cocaine era into the early 80s with Magic and Bird.
Yeah.
That's what the NBA needs. We have betting scandals now. The NBA's got some real systematic issues, and I think you need to fire the commissioner. And Adam Silver was always the heir apparent. He's not done a good job for this league. And I will continue to beat the drum that they need to replace him. 100%.
Yeah.
Maury Alvarez, good morning to you. Did you just say queefed? No, I said bequeathed. What I don't
dude.
I don't know.
What is it with you guys this week, you know?
Matt Ritson, morning guys. Hello. Yeah, I don't need homeboy on his nut in no. Conundrum, good morning to you, friend. 51st state comes with a hockey team. Hey, it's Friday. Hit the like button, James says. Good morning, James. Good to see you. Steely, hello. I did not. Old Tatanka. That was such a good game. I'm not even mad Canada won. No shame in that game, dude. Seriously. Force Ghost Fabio. I didn't know there was a game on. Exactly. I will admit the Four Nations game were more fun to watch than I thought it would be. It was cool. It was very cool. Lisa Sims. Hello, Lisa. Of course, Sankey is a scumbag. Well, I mean, listen.
That's where we're gonna start with the Sankey conversation.
Of course,
today.
Sankey's a scumbag,
dude.
That's amazing. Lisa, I appreciate that. U.S. beat Denmark, won Greenland in the quarterfinals. Yeah, I think that wasn't that the runner-up prize you get? Well, no politics though.
Yeah.
It's fine. That was the whole point of the meeting. They just did it. They just had with Petiti, to take control of college football. Congrats to the Maple Leafs for winning the Trump Cup. There you go.
There you go.
Dear YouTube, I will never go to SMU's Master of Business Administration program. Please stop showing your dumb ad on the Monty Show.
So wait, just 2 seconds on this. You understand that the ads are personalized to each of you based on what you view on YouTube.
Yeah.
So the idea that my guy here is talking about SMU Masters of Business commercials, it's incredible, bro.
Sal Capone, don't do it, Sal. Well, look at what time it is. Thanks, guys. I just nutted. Let's have a good show.
Stop.
Hit the like button. I don't know why I'm going to continue to read your comments, Fabio, because Labalco, I don't know what that means. Only 133 40-point games behind Jordan. See, again, because you don't know the NBA at all. Never mind. It's fine. Tell him, Jake, NBA is a shit show.
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far. I guess I don't, in my opinion, think you can get away from the fact that it's an incredible contrast between the two, meaning that,
yes,
hey, the Four Nations is an exhibition. We can't forget that part. It's an exhibition game. It means nothing on paper.
Yes.
But it meant everything to these players. And so then you look at, first team all tournament league in the NBA with Adam Silver, and we can't get the best guys to play in the All-Star weekend festivities.
But isn't it an interesting contrast? Like Lisa's saying that Greg Sankey's a scumbag. Isn't it an interesting contrast? Look at the leadership across sports in our country.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell, I think, is the best commissioner in all of sports. I think that Adam Silver is not doing well. The baseball commissioner.
Rob Manfred.
Rob Manfred is the worst commissioner.
What about Jay Monahan?
I think Jay's doing what needs to be done. Jay Monahan needed a push over the line. But, Monty, don't talk politics and sports. God damn it. Tell me that politics and sports don't run through golf.
Golf doesn't even have an all-star weekend, bro.
If the president of the United States wasn't a fan of golf, would we be having a Live Golf PGA merger?
Probably not.
No, we
I mean,
wouldn't.
they're talking about getting a merger done before the Players tournament.
No, they would. No, we wouldn't. Oh, don't talk about politics. Well, we talk about politics.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Sam Locke. Good morning, Sam Locke. Good to see you. What are your Jazz doing?
Nothing.
Oh, winning too many games. And donuts. Look at the Pro Bowl. Hi. Look at the Pro Bowl. That was watered down to protect players. Yeah, we're playing flag football now.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
But again, though, even at that point, I'm cool with that because the best players are there. It's not about like what game you're playing. I want to see the best guys in the world doing something.
And but here's my point about LeBron. LeBron James is legitimately injured. This is not load management. Thank you, Sal Capone. This is not load management. See what I did there?
Yeah, you see what I did there, load management.
This isn't a guy who just didn't want to play. Like, he's legitimately battling a lower body injury. He's legitimately hurt. And yet, jackwagons are ripping him for not playing in a meaningless All-Star game. How many has he been in? 40 All-Star games? I think they put him in the All-Star game in the womb.
Yeah, I mean, I legitimately think he's been in every All-Star game in his career that he could be.
And with nothing left to prove in his career, the guy, do you understand? He just went out and played back-to-back nights, injured, and you listen to him talk about, he's having to talk about, this is how foolish people are. He and the Lakers are having to talk about his injury and what he's doing to deal with it just to play in a game. And you go, oh, he's LeCap and shut up. I understand you have issues with the NBA. LeBron's not your hucklebearer here. That's not your guy. Old Tatanka. To Jake's point, though, I'd rather watch college basketball. Yes, I know the quality isn't there, but I'm not missing a Cooper Flag game right now. I'll tell you that. I'm not missing an Arizona basketball game right now. I'm not missing a BYU basketball game. Please beat somebody of note. I'm not missing a BYU basketball game right now because they're scintillating. They're fantastic. It's good basketball. But why? Because they have stars who are invested. Everybody knows, every college basketball fan knows AJ DeBanza, and you know him, and you're excited for him next year. I don't think there's a lot to be excited about until we get to the playoffs in the NBA.
That's the problem.
That is the problem.
Dude, I'm telling you guys, and I don't know if you share this experience, but like 5 years ago, if there was an NBA game on any given night, I was watching that game, dude. It was almost like Monday Night Football level excitement.
Who were you watching?
Yeah. Got my favorite players, the KDs of the world,
Kevin Durant.
Steph, like those guys, but in their prime.
And nobody's backfilled them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on top of that, the NBA, I think COVID was terrible for the NBA. I think people write down, like those who don't understand basketball, were like, oh, they're wearing masks. What a bunch of assholes. Or they're quarantined in a bubble so it doesn't mean like all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And you're downgrading the championship because it's LeBron and he was in a parade. And how dare you say Black Lives Matter? All lives matter. Well, like it's just that ugly conversation.
Yeah.
That's the problem in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. I think that
I don't know either.
I would agree. I don't like calling for people to be fired, but I do think they need to move on from Adam Silver.
He's got to dramatically change the trajectory of this league, and it can't be with another tournament.
Yeah.
Come on. Sergeant Moorhew, good morning. Good to see you. Boyd Lake, one of the greatest qualities of Westbrook is he's always taking games seriously and brings the intensity, and he wants to rip your head off.
Yeah.
That OKC team, when it was Westbrook and Fat Ass
Larden.
and Katie. Hey, he's big bone.
I know. He's got a condition.
When it was Westbrook and James Harden and Kevin Durant.
James Fat Suit Harden.
But can't let it go, can you? But what else was it? It was also Perk.
Yeah.
Kendrick Perkins was there, and they were mean, and they were physical, and Westbrook wanted to, rip the rim off the backboard every time he dunked, and now Kevin Durant doesn't want to go back to Golden State. It's amazing to me. We ripped Kevin Durant for going to Golden State, and now we're ripping him because he won't go back to Golden State.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who we are, right? That's who we are. Jay Chapman, why is Tony Petitti getting a pass? He's not getting a pass. He's just not. Again, why do you know Greg Sankey? Because he goes on Baldy's show, Feinbaum. I watched Paul Feinbaum yesterday.
Dude.
I don't know what they did to his show, but it is remarkably better.
That's why we have Feinbaum.
Remarkably better. I think Feinbaum makes Greg Sankey more understandable, relatable, because he goes on Feinbaum's show. Greg Sankey goes on podcasts. Greg Sankey is out there talking. You've never heard a Tony Petitti interview.
It does surprise me Tony doesn't talk more.
But why would he? Let Greg Sankey be the villain. The scumbag, as Lisa said.
Right.
The problem is, and I'll continue to die on this hill. If I were a fan of the Big Ten, the Big 12, the ACC, NEG 5, I'd be making an offer to Greg Sankey. If I needed a commissioner, yes.
Yeah, I guess it's what's difficult about this whole thing is I guess part of it too is I want the NBA to be a big deal. I want the NBA to matter, and I grow doing the show. I grow fatigued on only talking football. I love football.
Yeah, I get worn out on it.
It's great, awesome, but I do grow fatigued of not being able to talk about hockey, not being able to talk. Dude, I would do a whole show on the live PGA thing. That's a great conversation, man. Seeing Donnie and Tiger up there going through that at that presser they did. And like, the fact that I love that it came out to the point of, hey, the best players in the world getting together and doing something like they did last night. I love the fact that we're pushing towards, the best players in the world being together for the Players Championship. That's a great tournament. It always just an impossible course, and watching these guys go out and navigate it. I hate with all of myself the Saudi money portion. I hate it. I'll never like it. But at some point, for the betterment of the sport, we're going to have to move on from it.
But we've normalized live golf now. We've normalized it because
meaning what?
It's not blood money anymore. It's not Khashoggi money anymore.
I would agree for the masses. It's not. For me, it still is. I haven't let it go.
Again, well, Monty, keep politics out of it.
No.
You explain to me how I'm supposed to keep politics out of sports when the president of the United States is involved in the live golf negotiations.
And hockey.
Tell me how I'm supposed to keep You're not supposed to. Noel Ramirez. It's because the NBA doesn't have the villain team that people would hate to watch, like Tom Brady and the Patriots. Yeah, I think that's a great point.
I would agree.
There's no Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, and it's part of why I'm a little bit concerned about this Luka Lakers trade, because it's going to take them some time to figure that out and to see the best version of that all come together. And the Mavericks versus the Suns rivalry was incredible for 2-3 seasons. I remember sitting on this show saying, like, dude, we finally have some hate in the NBA. We finally have something here.
Yeah.
And now we don't.
At least the NBA still plays their actual sport for the game. The NFL plays such a bunch of not football games.
Well,
that's a different show, but I don't disagree with you. Wasikowskinator, NHL surpassed the NBA last Saturday night. No, it didn't. And again, I'm asking you, don't get carried away. Because if you watched the Four Nations last night, that does not mean you're going to be watching the NHL this weekend. Do you know what happens in the NHL this weekend? Oh, that's right. They play a garden variety regular season NHL game that you're not going to watch. You're not. That's the reality of it. Conundrum, never give up. If Limu the Emu can do it, so can you. I mean,
I guess.
And Doug. Good morning, Mark Hales. Good to see you. It's not your big bones, it's your mouth. Well, some people have told me that. Lisa Sims, Petiti is also a quiet person. He is. He is he is not somebody that's super out there and intense. Noel Ramirez, someone should give Meta World Peace a 10-day contract. That guy can barely walk right now. Ryan Dooley, the NBA is so boring now. I would rather listen to you guys talk off.
But right, like,
how do you, is there a fix for the NBA? I think you need, I hate to say it, I think you need a super team, because OKC is arguably the best team in the NBA, and they are just simply not interesting or compelling.
Mm-hmm.
You can't name, you might be able to pull an SGA, who's the second best player on OKC. They traded under 14 guy. You know,
I think what the NBA has to do is create an environment that forces guys to compete at a higher level.
And why am I not an NBA guy? I'm going to Chicago, and the Bulls are in Chicago the same weekend I am. I'm not going to the game. Why? Because the Bulls are terrible. The Bulls, and I shouldn't say they're terrible. They damn near beat the Knicks last night. But the Bulls are not compelling or interesting. I'm at a point now where I watch more Suns and Lakers than I watch Bulls.
Mm-hmm.
I watched that Laker game last night in complete awe of LeBron James. But my guy's Devin Booker. And he doesn't win. He doesn't win. I miss hearing NFL on the Fitty update. Guys. Football at 50. Exactly. Golf is like watching paint dry for you. But it's a huge story in American sports. It is. Petiti, I also read in an article, is a quiet person, so maybe that's why he doesn't do interviews. Could be. But what's the gain for him doing interviews? I don't know either. Definitely still blood money. No way around it. But How can you say that with our current political climate? When we quite literally, do you guys understand what happened at the White House yesterday? You had Jay Monahan, Tiger Woods, and the director of the PIF, which is the Public Investment Fund, which essentially is the Saudi Arabian government. All those people were at the White House. So the Saudi government is going to own part of American sports and had a meeting at the White House. Monty, don't talk politics. I'm not. I'm simply talking golf.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when we say, hey, it's still blood money, I agree. But we've normalized it now. We've accepted it. We've made it okay. We have. There is no other way to describe that. And I could go way off the reservation and tell you, hey, we're doing the same thing with the Russians. Politics and sports, man. It's the same DNA.
Yeah, they run parallel, man.
And donuts. I assume you guys saw Tiger get the Medal of Freedom yesterday. And why? Because our president likes golf. That's why.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods has no business.
It's a show, man.
Come on. Golf or hockey is not my thing, but some like it, and it's your show. Talk about it if you want.
Well, no, and I appreciate that. The point is more that like football is just so in the lead in terms of what people want to talk about. Like
when it's a slow sports day. Wow. Okay, let's talk baseball. The New York Yankees have eliminated their facial hair policy. Yankee players are now allowed to have well-groomed beards. Okay, your thoughts. Go. That just broke.
What are we doing?
My point is, there's very few days in the world where we get to talk hockey and golf. Today is one of those days because of the Four Nations tournament. So, and I am burnt on college football. I'll be honest with you. And one of the things we need to talk about today is I do think, and I love this word, college football is at an existential moment. This is a really important moment in time. It is a question of existence for college football. And the scumbag, Greg Sankey, God, Lisa, that's an all-time comment. The scumbag, Greg Sankey, is doing what everybody else in sports should be doing. But yet we vilify the guy for it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's a scumbag. I think he's an elite administrator. He is Roger Goodell of college football. He makes his constituents more money than they've ever made. And he's doing it in football and basketball. And I'd also remind you, I was looking at their Olympic sports success.
Yeah.
The SEC's making a good living right now. And it pisses people off. But we tend to, no different than LeBron James, vilify scumbag Greg Sankey because he's wildly successful. And when I look at college football, the hard part is most people will tell you it's scumbag Greg Sankey's fault. I'm here to break news to you today. Big 12 fan, ACC fan, G5 fan. It's not Greg Sankey's fault. It's your fault. It's your commissioner's fault. It's your president's fault. It's your athletic director's fault. And I will simply ask you the question, and I know that we've talked about this ad nauseum on this show, and I frankly am worn out on it. But why isn't everybody doing what scumbag Greg Sankey's doing? Why are we vilifying Greg Sankey? What is it that Greg Sankey is doing that you're unhappy with? Because if I were Greg Sankey, I'd be doing the exact same thing. And if I were LeBron James, I would not have played in the All-Star game. If I were Steph Curry, I would not have played in the three-point contest. Because why should they? Why should scumbag Greg Sankey do anything other than he's doing? And the answer is he shouldn't. He's doing exactly what he should do. Make the most money, because that's what this is about. Let's talk about money. Make the most money possible. If you're an American iron worker, make as much money as possible. If you're a small business owner, should we tiptoe around the money you're not making? So the answer to all of that is absolutely not. We should not tiptoe around the money you're not making. If you're the Big 12, why are we tiptoeing around the money you're not making? We talk about this with the Pac-12 all the time. Why do we tiptoe around the money they're not making? Why is there an obsession with Pac-12 fans about what the league used to be, not what it's going to be? The biggest issue in college football right now is everybody is vilifying Greg Sankey instead of doing exactly what he's doing, which is making people more money, giving people more access, and creating a better environment for his student athletes to thrive. In those talking about Tony Petitti, listen, if I were a commissioner and I could ride Greg Sankey's coattails, sign me up. Because the Big Ten, I think understandably so, and I would like to think, and I dare bring his name up again, I would like to thank Paul Feinbaum for at least espousing the truth about Greg Sankey.
That's why we have fine moms.
At least truth-telling that he's doing exactly what he should be doing. So I'm not the only guy in the world saying Greg Sankey's doing what everybody should be doing. Stop vilifying him for doing what's best for the SEC. Instead, start getting on your commissioner's ass for not doing what's best for the Big 12, the ACC, the AAC, every conference. That's the biggest difference right now is I'm not going to sit here and vilify a guy for doing exactly what he should be doing. That's your job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think he essentially said that in that clip we always play. You know, like, hey, we're not going to water down things, and we're going to do what we do. And yeah, I think in life, like, people like to hate on the successful guy in the room, but the reality is people are only hating because they don't have what the SEC has. And again, this brings us right back to, you know, again, any conference you want to look at. For us, obviously, the Big 12 is what we talk a lot about on this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I just, as days go by, you know, as I think about this day after day after day, I'm definitely progressing towards, like, I don't feel bad for these programs who don't want to do what it takes. I like, you can't on one hand say, oh, well, the SEC, you know, just spends all the money and makes all the money so they can do it and they can do it and we can't. Yeah, but part of what you're leaving out is they've done things and made sacrifices that you haven't to put themselves in that position. And so we find ourselves talking about this day after day because, again, we don't have in the Big 12 or, you know, really any other conference a situation where you're just dying and doing everything you can do to win. And so it's, I just am like, bro, what else? Where else do you go with it? Like, yeah, the guy leads college football. Yes, there are some times where, like, I didn't like the shtick yesterday. I didn't like him. You know, I felt it was unnecessary for him to come out and say, if I just worried about the SEC, we'd still be in a 14 playoff. Because I just don't think that's true. I think he's trying to play the political.
Wait, so are you
game
saying that he is spinning a message?
Yes. He is trying to control the narrative. That's
not
correct.
trying to control the narrative.
Mm.
He is controlling the narrative.
I don't know that I agree with that. I think there was a lot of reaction to that, dude.
Yeah,
across all of college football.
Which is exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
And I have no problem with it. I go back to Brett Yormark because I think he's a great example. I think Brett Yormark is a phenomenal commissioner who's got a bunch of toothless presidents behind him who are unwilling to do what needs to be done. And I go back to Texas and Oklahoma. Like I was talking to a football guy yesterday about Oklahoma State. And because I'm trying to be a better, softer, more understanding version of Marty. Right? Like,
don't lie to me.
That's not true. Screw it. Right? I'm trying to be more objective about Oklahoma State in particular. And so I've asked a bunch of college football people, hey, am I wrong about Oak State? Am I misguided in the fact that they clipped Mike Gundy's balls off and put him in a jar on the shelf, and then said publicly we did that because we can't afford to pay players in NIL or portal? No. Nobody disagrees with that. And so one of the things that was brought up to me yesterday, I think, is a great point. Instead of Oak State talking about how badly they don't want or how much they don't need the Oklahoma game, you probably should have put that energy into keeping Oklahoma in the league.
Yeah.
And instead of pushing Texas out, oh, is Texas back? Okay, Jack Wagons. Instead of pushing Texas out of the league, maybe you should have done everything you could do to keep them in the league. Jackass. Right? Oh, only you didn't do that. You ran him out of the league. You pushed him out of the league. You held the door open for him. And at the end of the day, you let him pay their way out early, which, great, I get it. Prudent move at the time. But my point is, you sent Oklahoma and Texas out of the league and then tried to spin and tell us that you were going to do everything you could do to win a national championship, and then you didn't fire Dave Aranda, and then you gave Mike Gundy a pay cut. Is that Brett Yormark's fault? No. But you know the difference between the SEC and the Big 12? They don't give coaches pay cuts. They fire coaches.
Yeah.
They don't allow their like, I don't know who your also ran would be. But this would be like the ACC being like, oh, Florida State and Clemson, you guys want to go? Well, we picked up Stanford and Cal. Yeah, so go ahead. Lick boots. We'll see you later. No, they said you're not leaving the league. They fought to keep them in the league. That's what the Big 12 should have done, but didn't do. And that's why you're never going to be the SEC. And yet you're going to sit here and we're going to call Greg Sankey a scumbag. Would you have been better off right now today if Texas and Oklahoma were in the Big 12? Come on. Bro.
It's
Come
not
on.
even arguable.
Are you out of your mind? And I'll go back further. Instead of running Missouri and Nebraska and Texas A&M, is this a better league if Texas A&M and Missouri are in? If Nebraska,
Especially with what Missouri is doing in basketball.
is this a better league? The answer is yes. This is a better league. If instead of holding the door open, you had said instead of, you should have gone mafia and locked the door and said, now you just can't leave.
Yes.
But you didn't do that. And so instead we want to, hey, Greg Sankey's a scumbag. Okay, I totally get that. But if that scumbag had been running your league when Nebraska went to the Big Ten, somehow I don't think Nebraska would have gone to the Big Ten. And so instead of vilifying Greg Sankey, my only point is, let's look at what our leagues are not doing.
But that's uncomfortable. People don't want to do that. People don't want to talk about like what actually went on at Oklahoma State. People don't want to talk about it's the old, inconvenient truth part of the program where it's like, hey, you can choose to view Oklahoma State's just the example, but it could be any program.
Look at the Pac-12.
The Pac-12 is a great example. You can choose to view the Pac-12 in a certain way
as a victim.
Yeah, as a victim. But the reality is they made their own bed. Now they're lying in that thing, and there's not a real way to get out of the bed.
And why did Oklahoma and Texas ultimately leave the league? At the end of the day, they left the Big 12 for more money. That's why they left the Big 12, right? It's not even that there was vitriol or you got mocked for the Longhorn Network, right? And everybody was pissed about that. And you left the league for more money.
Right.
Why did all those teams ultimately in the Pac-12 wind up? Why did SC and UCLA go to the Big Ten? For more money. And if we had been more concerned about building Brinks trucks instead of building walls and chasms and canyons between Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and Texas and everybody else, we'd be having a different conversation. So my point in all this is, Greg Sankey's just done a really good job of being insular and saying, hey, I'm happy to do all of this, but you've all got to be all in to win.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why we're seeing, again, my guy Lane Train or Vanderbilt, or you're seeing the bottom of the SEC, the historical dogs, now rising up, and the depth in that league is getting deeper. And I think a revelation in the Big Ten with this basketball season, right? Look, if you're Michigan, how is Michigan leading the Big Ten right now?
I mean, it's a great point.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, especially after the season they had.
Because now the expectations got to change.
But it's not changing in the other conferences. That's the problem.
Ooh, that's a great point.
It's not changing.
Do you expect to win a national championship this coming season in the Big 12?
No. Nope.
I think that's, yeah. All right. End of the day, it doesn't keep Sankey in power, and the SEC as a top dog in college football is at a crossroads. And if you ain't fighting, you're going to die on the vine. I don't blame big boys for playing the game. I think you're right. But I also think the interesting thing about that comment is, funny enough, during the Oklahoma State conversation I was having the other day, because I really have tried to be more objective about Oklahoma State. I felt bad the other day that I probably went a little too hard on James.
Stay hard.
And, you know, he got upset and he cried, and he was in the fetal position. He said that when Oak State James was sending nudes to Jake, because
From the ops building.
Yeah, they texted stuff from the Oak State ops building that they're building. James was on the floor nude in the fetal position after the diatribe the other day, where he said that Oak State's going to be the best team in the country and they have the best coaches and all the best wide receivers, including Deshaun Stribling, who now plays for somebody else, and your best defender who's at Oklahoma. Anyways, fuck all that. The point is, I'm probably not trying hard enough to be objective.
What?
But the funny thing is, and I lost my train of thought there, but the funny thing is, I was having this conversation about Oklahoma State recruiting the other day, and it bled into, hey, do you think Greg Sankey's a scumbag? I was asking this guy, hey, do you really think Greg Sankey's the devil? And he said, no, he's not the devil, but if he can't pull everybody else along, college football will die.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the one of the best ways to say it, is that in this league, especially in the Big 12, you can't have an Oak State and a Utah repeat doing what they did. Utah and Oak State absolutely crippled the Big 12 last year.
Yep.
When your big-time contenders who you expected to compete for a spot in the college football playoff absolutely do not exist, that's a huge problem. A huge problem. And I think to a lesser extent, BYU, who was one of the best stories in college football last year, okay, you filled that gap a little bit for the Big 12. But there was no replacing Oak State. Because I maintain, I think Oak State and Texas Tech are the two football programs that have to thrive if this league's going to thrive. And I just think if we don't get a league in the ACC and the Big 12 to come along with the power play that the Big 10 and the SEC are rolling out, this sport's going to die, because Greg Sankey is uniquely aware that for college football to be this unbelievable behemoth and a revenue-generating juggernaut that we've never seen before, it can't just be the Big 10 and the SEC. It cannot just be that. It can't. It does not work. Greg Sankey, I think he's even said he knows it has to be a national sport. And with just, you can't have a Great Lakes, because still, even with the West Coast quad, you're still a Great Lakes and Southeast portion of the country.
Yeah.
You just are, until SC and Lincoln Riley figure it out, until Washington figures it out, until Oregon doesn't get boat raced in the first round of the playoffs, their first game, you're a Midwest conference. And I think Indiana's another one of these conversations. You're not going to keep Michigan down long, sanctions or not, whatever winds up happening there. I think Sharon Moore did a really nice job this offseason. I think you look at Nebraska's on the way up. Like, you just look at Indiana, the depth in the Big Ten in football is coming. They're not going to be a two-brand league for long.
Yeah. They're definitely getting better.
Can you say that about the Big 12 and the ACC?
No.
I don't think you can. Unfortunately, I just don't. Not with what we saw from Utah and Oak State last year. I just don't think you can. I don't. Okay. Oak State James for $5. And before I look at this comment, is there an IPF or a stadium involved in this comment?
Probably.
Big 12 and ACC need to get more corp sponsors to bring in more money. Weird question. If Sankey was the Pac-12 commish, could he get a better deal than the Mountain West? No, because they would never be in this position.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to be getting another deal, dude.
And
Wouldn't have to be getting another deal.
I was intentionally trying to avoid the Pac-12 Mountain West thing today. Somebody told me yesterday that the Pac-12's TV deal is going to be $6 to $8 million. That there is some belief that they have a really firm grasp on what that dollar figure is going to be. Between $6 and $8 million.
Yeah, I'm going to say it again. If that's the number, I think you're in real trouble with those schools that joined up, because that's definitively not what you told them you were going to get.
If it's $6 to $8 million in the Pac-12, my guess is in the Mountain it'll be 4 to 6. Whoever gets the closest to $8 million wins. And my guess is that these two are racing to the finish line. And whoever pulls a deal first wins. And if the Pac-12, let's go down the middle, pulls a $7 million per school per year deal, which I think is likely, one of these two conferences will. There's not $70 million sitting out there for the Mountain West at that point. And vice versa. And I do think it's a very interesting equation. I don't think anybody, if Greg Sankey were the commissioner of the Pac-12, they would still be a league. Because it wasn't real difficult you had a TV deal.
Yeah.
And you didn't want it.
And I think you had a TV deal on par with the Big 12's TV deal.
I think you did.
I
think you did. But it's fine. TJ Beck, Oak State James says, if you guys get an ops building, you'll beat ESPN. So, listen, big changes are coming to the show. So,
and please speculate abound. Do it.
I've had like 4 or 5 people DM me being like, dude, you got to tell me what it is. I'm tired of waiting.
I hate the clickbait, Monty. Come on.
Can't do it. Conundrum, top 8 Big 12 and top 8 ACC equal the SEC. So wait, let me get this right. There's not a top 8 in the Big 12. Not in football. Let's just make that real clear. Who are the 4 best teams in the, I don't think you can say, I don't know who are the 4 best teams in the Big 12 for 2025?
Well, for 2025, that's a different
aren't we
conversation.
Guessing?
Yeah, we're guessing. Yeah, I mean, if last year taught us anything, we're guessing.
I don't believe in going backwards. I'm not in the business of what ifs. Last year is done. I think the best team in the Big 12 today is Texas Tech. I think that's the best roster in the league. I think, obviously ASU won the league. They don't have the talent they had last year, this year. Kenny Dillingham talking about how a lot of his guys got snubbed at the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because there's not respect there, right? We don't know them as a winning program. I think they're in a prove-it year. I think Utah's in a prove-it year. BYU is better, but I think they're not as good as Texas Tech.
TCU will be better.
TCU, I think, will take a step forward. I don't know who the 4 best teams in the Big 12 are going to be. I truly do not. I don't think, until Avery Johnson shows me, I'm not buying. Until Kansas shows me, I'm not buying. I'm truly not buying. I think if we look at the Big 12, I think Texas Tech is the best team in the Big 12. I think BYU's number 2. I think probably Iowa State's going to be number 3.
See, but this is the problem, right? Like you look at the list of the teams in the Big 12 and you're like, all right, well, let's just take the teams that were good last year and what would they be this year? Well, okay, Iowa State's probably going to be there. I would agree. ASU, we don't know what ASU is going to be. That's too hard to tell.
Scat was such a big part of their performance last year.
Yeah, so okay, maybe not ASU. Okay, well, if you look at the portal, Tech is theoretically going to be the best team in the Big 12. You look at BYU. I mean, they should be good. Retzloff's back. You've got a lot of talent back there. You lost a couple guys, but overall, you're back. You're gonna retread that thing again. So they theoretically should be good. Then I look at Colorado and I say, hey man, you guys lost a lot of talent there, right? Obviously, Shador's gone, Travis is gone. So, I look at them and I say, now we get to see what kind of coach Deion Sanders is, right? We get to see, hey, how good can that staff develop the talent they do have on the roster, and who's going to be that contributor on a week in and week out basis that we haven't heard of yet, that maybe is a freshman that overachieves. Will Deion have that? So I look at Colorado and I say, yeah, I'm not really convinced, right? I still need to be sold that they're going to be good this year. And I look at Utah. Utah's a team that should be a lot better. I don't know how you're not better after the year you had. It's hard to get worse, right? So you should be better, especially with the moves you made. So again, who are the top 4 teams in the Big 12? I think that's impossible. That's an impossible question, to answer right now. But ultimately, I think this notion that, let's call it even the top 4 teams in the Big 12 and the ACC being the top 8 in the SEC, I think the margin's wider than that. I think that the SEC top to bottom is better than both of those leagues.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And I just don't think that we can sit here and say, well, if you comprise those 2 conferences, then it would be as good as the SEC. I disagree. The ACC is a 1-team league right now. Let's be real. Like last season was last season. You had 2 teams that really were like threats to do something in the college football playoff, and they both disappointed. So I don't think that either of these 2 conferences have real threats in the college football playoff at all.
Well, I mean, if you look at the ACC, you've got to have Florida State rebound in a big way. That league only exists as Florida State exists. And
but
the
I'm not
turnover...
convinced. I'm not convinced with them.
I'm wildly convinced that they're a better football team today than they have been for the last 12 months. I mean, that coaching staff, you don't spend time around that group of human beings. Same thing at Ohio State last year. You don't spend time around that group of human beings and not improve as a football player.
Yeah.
I mean, that is what Mike pulled there at Florida State. Geez, Louise. You talked about Utah. This league is only going to go, with all due respect to the Utes, they're only going to go as far as Oklahoma State. If Oklahoma State is another, I think they're a tragic 5, maybe 6-win team.
At what point do you start talking about Gundy not being there with Oklahoma State?
Oak State fan will never talk about that. I get it. He's your boy. He's your quarterback. So many Oklahoma State fans look at Mike Gundy as the quarterback. He's not a quarterback anymore. And you got to understand that. This league needs Mike Gundy and Oak State to win 10 games desperately. Because I think Utah can have a massive, but their defense is, even losing your best defensive lineman, their defense is so good. I mean, it was the best defense in the league last year. And now you have a prolific offense. Let's see what they do. They got to go out on the field and perform. BYU, Jake Retzloff is going to be the best quarterback in the league this year. I'm convinced of it. I am convinced of it. I think their offense, obviously your wide receiver room is going to take a turn this year. You've got to inject some more development and talent because you lose Darius Laster. BYU put out the top 5 touchdown passes last year. Darius Laster had like 7 of the top 5 touchdowns. I said he had 7. Anyway, this league only goes as far as, I still maintain, If the Big 12 ever gets to the top end of their potential, Oak State will win the league multiple years in a row.
Agreed. But that's why it's such a travesty. That's why it's such a problem,
They're
dude.
so important.
Yeah.
Mike Smith. Sankey can be great for the SEC and also be a scumbag of an individual at the same time. He's actually not. He's a really good human being. Greg Sankey is a really good dude. He's not a bad person at all. Does not have to be one, but not the other, mutually exclusive. Yeah, he's actually a really good dude. You don't have to like him as a commissioner, but Greg Sankey's not a bad guy. TJ, I never said that. Are you sure you never said that about
James? I mean, come on, dude. You never said that the ops building would take Oklahoma State over the top with ESPN?
Come on, man. It's all in fun,
again,
James.
dude. Play your character here, man. We're just having fun with you.
Sankey hasn't won a game that I know of yet. I would give that to Bama and Georgia. That's I thought Greg Sankey's run in the fourth quarter there. Kialani, how is it a national sport when 85% of the viewers and interest is only in the Midwest and the SEC footprint? Near zero interest in the Northeast, West Coast, and the Mid-Atlantic. Well, I wouldn't say zero. Mid-Atlantic and Northeast is basketball country in this country at the college level. I agree with that. The West Coast, I would disagree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I think the West Coast of our country is a melting pot of people who are from all over the place.
Yeah, I would disagree with that. So, but check it out. Don't screw it up. I think this is the first time I've ever read a comment. ESPN has major concerns about what the SEC and the Big Ten are doing in reaching for automatic bids in the college football playoff. Wholeheartedly disagree.
Again, we've talked about this so much. If you're going to say things like this, you need to have facts as to why you believe this, because nothing at all says ESPN's. Why would ESPN be concerned about that, dude?
And again, I continue to tell people, do you really think Greg Sankey takes a dump in the morning without asking ESPN what they think of it? He does not. There's nothing happening with the SEC and the Big Ten that ESPN's not aware of. Because who is one of the most important partners to a conference? Arguably the most. That'd be ESPN, ABC, ESPN.com, ESPN Plus, and Disney. The SEC does not move without ESPN.
Right.
Do you think they left CBS willy-nilly? No, they didn't. They are in bed with ESPN and Disney, and ESPN and Disney are well aware of what the SEC is doing. And as far as Tony Petitti and the Big Ten, CBS and Fox and NBC all know exactly what they're doing. Oh, wait, isn't that the pejorative amount of all the TV? Yeah, it is. Those two don't move without their TV partners. Who were one of the first calls Gloria Navarez made after the raid happened? Her stakeholders in television, because those people are really important. That's significant to how you do business. And I think it is, with all due respect to you, I mean, we know too many people in TV to just give you a pass on that. Joe, guys, stop showing me curvaceous cougar dating ads during the Monty Show. Yeah, if you guys could stop doing that, that'd be great. 6 to 8 is a fail. It's not ideal. Revenue for a conference. It's not ideal. ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby.
Said it.
85% of the U.S. live east of Lubbock. Kind of easy to say 85% of the viewership is from the Midwest and South. And
that was a savage comment, dude.
Come on, Monty team, throw us a bone. Nope, can't do it.
Can't do it, bro.
Tanner Plumer, you guys are changing into an RSL show. That's the big news.
Yeah, the whole logo on the wall is just going to be 3 massive letters, and that's it. No more cities, We're
Real.
Yeah,
not real.
Yeah, not real.
Gumby says the Showgram is moving to the Big Lubbock. I believe that's the truth.
Right. And Buc-ee's is going to be the presenting sponsor. And, we're just, that's just what
James
we're doing.
is building us an upper deck right now.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what he said on the show. I never said that. Are you sure? Boyd Lake. Sankey would not make the mistake of using economic professors to tell him how valuable his league is.
Dude, chill, bro.
It is so disappointing to me the Pac-12 does not exist anymore. Like, that is one of the... TJ Beck, what happened to Big Daddy Magic? Is he still with us? Dude, he sent me another nude. He's a huge Victor Wembanyama fan.
Victor's the way.
Big Daddy Magic sent me a video of him topless yesterday, and I'm not here.
This is your beloved.
Mike Smith. ESPN also reps the Big 12 and the ACC. They might make more money in ratings with the SEC, but they still have a financial interest in the Big 12 and the ACC, a huge financial
Because again,
interest.
those two conferences don't do bad. That's the thing.
That's the truth.
Like, it's not like they don't do horrible. They just don't do what the SEC and the Big 10 do. So there's a gap. Like, it's not that you're doing bad. You're just not doing what you could be doing.
I would agree. You guys, I just hope that everybody understands nothing in college football happens without ESPN and ABC.
Yeah.
Nothing. Those guys are well aware. Do you understand who they extended the contract with the college football playoff? Why? Oh, because it doesn't matter if we go to a Super League. ESPN's. If Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti do what I think they're going to do, which is have their own playoff at the end of the season to determine seeding in the college football playoff. Do you think ESPN's going to want to broadcast those games? If they play each other in December, Big Ten and the SEC, we talked about this yesterday. If Texas and Ohio State are playing a game in the first week of December to determine seeding in the college football playoff, I wonder where that game will be played. Where will they broadcast that game from? Well, my guess is that if it's at the Shoe, that's probably on the Fox, CBS, NBC side. If it's at DKR, my guess is it's on the ESPN, ABC. Oh, wait. That's right. They'll play that game in a neutral site. And Fox, the Big Ten package and ESPN, ABC will alternate those games. So the alternate, the neutral site will be a home game, designated home team, Ohio State. Okay, that game's on the Fox, CBS, NBC side.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama and Oregon are playing in the late game. Well, that's going to be an Alabama home game in Atlanta. So they're going to play that on ESPN and ABC.
Oh.
It's not rocket science, bro.
You think they're going to eliminate any of their TV partners from that shit? They're not.
No.
They're going to, it's big enough that they can get everybody involved and everybody makes money and everybody watches. And do you think those will be some of the biggest viewerships of the season? The answer is yes. Yes. I think that's what they're truthfully, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're going to go to 9 conference games. Well, but that's going to keep them out of the college football playoff. Au contraire, mon frere, they're going to play 9 college games, and then the top 4 in the Big Ten and the top 4 in the SEC are going to have a little tournament at the end of the year to determine who the top seeds in the college football playoff are.
Nobody's going to get eliminated.
And what are you going to do about it?
Nothing.
That's what I'm saying. ACC West Coast Commissioner Gumby, the big news is Jack's V card. You mean Jakey Two-Shake's V card is getting an upper deck. Moving to Lubbock wouldn't be a bad move. There's a ton of good steak places in Lubbock. I don't really eat steak. And lots of good taco places. Okay, now you're talking my language.
Yeah.
You guys, I had a meltdown at a steakhouse in Seattle last weekend.
What do you mean you had a meltdown?
So we went to the Butcher Table, I think it's called, in downtown Seattle. And I ordered a ribeye. I never eat ribeyes. So much fat. I never eat ribeyes.
My God, they're good, though.
Oh. So the lady said, I said, how's the ribeye? Oh, it's wet aged. That's where I stopped listening.
Hold up. You just said it was wet aged?
I said, what is wet aged? Because, and I said to her, my butthole had a meltdown over a dry aged steak about 4 years ago. So we're not really in the aged meat business.
No.
And so I asked the chef to come out. The chef came out and explained, oh, you don't have to worry about it, because wet aging is, hey, I'm going to vacuum seal this ribeye with some seasoning and liquid, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And it's going to sit there until it's aged. And then we're going to, dry aging is, hey, I'm going to put it in a dark, dank room and let it mold. And so essentially the point of dry aging is to have some of the meat go bad. Then you trim that and you serve the part that's good. Well, I went to a certain steakhouse in Laguna Niguel and my butthole fell apart for 3 days.
It was so bad. I'm talking about like
black water.
Hugh Janus.
Like throwing up
both ends
for like 3 days. It was the worst thing in the world. So when I hear the word aged beef, I usually don't partake.
Run the other way.
Brandon Butler, dude, with Wemby being out, we need a wellness check on Big Daddy Magic. T-Bird has to be falling apart. He sent me a video yesterday. So I actually checked in on him. So, and they're going to get Cooper Flag, and it's going to piss me off. Jay McClanahan. Why wouldn't ESPN push a Super League? I think they would love a Super League.
Yeah, they are, dude.
Big Papa War Machine. Lubbock is ass, James.
Bro.
Lubbock is ass.
Dude.
Hot. Anyway.
Bro, you did not just call Texas Tech country ass.
It's not ass.
Dude.
Hot ass.
I'd rather live in Wichita Falls, and there's 10 teeth in that whole town.
Damn,
wow.
Bro. Chill.
Wow. Lubbock is great. Come on. Old Tatanka. I think blaming the conference for being mid is a stretch. We as fans of specific teams need to hold our team's feet to the fire.
Yeah, but we don't do that. See, we don't do that. That's the thing.
No, we don't. I'm a Cubs season ticket holder. I can't speak on the
How's the
subject.
mullet still employed? How is Mr. Clean in Waco still employed? How? Don't know. But they are.
Do the members of the new Pac-12, after seeking 68 a year, offer to revert back to the Mountain West? I don't think so. What are the odds the Pac and the Mountain West combine and make double that? I think I've had this exact discussion with multiple television executives. On their own, they're each worth $6 to $8 million, depending on who gets that deal first. I think the second deal is $4 to $5 million.
Right.
Let's call it 4 to 6 for the second deal, 6 to 8 for the first deal. The biggest issue is you're competing for late windows. Because if you're Fox, Big Fox, you've got the Big Ten deal. That's essentially your late window. Here comes Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
There's just not a whole lot of inventory, especially now with the Big 12 expanding westward. Those 8:30 Mountain Time kickoffs are prime time in Los Angeles. And they're fantastic games. So there's just not a lot of late inventory. And so I think when you're looking at the Pac-12, they've got to get that deal done first. It's incredibly important. And it's got to be $6 to $8 million. Because I think whoever gets that deal done first wins. Whoever gets their deal second does not win, in my opinion. Gloria Navarez was on the show, and she said that, yeah, she thinks there's enough butter for all the toast. But I don't know if I agree with this. Is there enough money for two deals with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West? And again, not survival, because I don't know that anybody just wants to survive. Can the Mountain West and the Pac-12 both get deals that allow you both to survive and to thrive in the same marketplace?
Yes, I believe so, because, the deals, part of it is financial, certainly, but also it's exposure and getting your games and products out there to a wide audience that then also increases value. So I do feel there is money out there, certainly because we're competing against each other and there's more two different packages of inventory in the market. I think we're pulling each other down to some degree because there's competition. But I don't think it's mutually exclusive.
Got to have a big TV deal. Got to have I don't know that I agree with that. And what is she going to say? No, there's not. Whoever gets a deal first survives. Everybody else is dead. She's not going to say that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that I can agree with her on that. I know I can't, in fact. I think one of these two leagues, the Mountain West and the Pac-12, are going to get, if you put my feet to the fire, it's a $7 million deal. And I would guess a significant part of that will be streaming.
Yeah, I think that if the Mountain West can get their TV deal done first, their media rights deal done first,
yep,
I think there's a really high risk to the Pac-12 being sweated out and not being able to get to where they need to go. And that's why, like, hearing, that Teresa Gould interview, talking about, like, transformational partnerships and relationships, and like people need to come in here and help us build this league back up. And it's like, I just struggle with the incentive to people who would be coming in to do that. Because again, like we're talking about, like nothing happens without ESPN and ABC knowing about it. All the TV partners talk to each other. If we learned anything from what Pernetti said this week out of the AAC, athletic directors, when they are in these situations, and presidents, when they're in these situations, sit at a table and talk about it all. So for me, I just sit here and I say, hey, I would agree with you. I don't think there's two deals out there. And I think that's why we keep hearing the sort of rumblings about TV entities saying, hey,
two
merge,
deals
dude.
of a significant value.
But again,
I think there are two deals out there. Are there two $8 million deals out there for the Pac-12 and the Mountain West?
No.
I don't think so.
And the Pac-12 can't afford to do a $4 million deal.
I don't think so.
That's the problem. So
And
that's what I mean.
This bite from Teresa Gould talking about transformational partnerships, was this talking off the top of her head or was this purposeful?
The one thing I keep saying to potential partners is, given where we are as a league, I don't want these partnerships to be transactional partnerships. I don't want this to be a media rights partner writing us a check and televising a bunch of games. We need these partnerships to be transformational at this point, and for somebody to really jump in with us and say, we want to help elevate and reimagine the new Pac-12.
Yeah. I think that was a huge mistake.
Like, isn't that what a TV partner's doing by cutting you the check?
But when you're telling somebody, she's basically saying that she needs the NBC, CBS, Fox deal. I need a theme song. I need a brand transformation. I think that's a problem, especially when your main competitor's already talking to Fox, CBS, and TNT. And again, I'm just telling you, Fox is the one I'd really pay attention to, because I think if that ACC deal had fallen apart, I think Fox would have picked up a significant amount of that business. I firmly believe that. And I think that Gloria Navarez, the commissioner of the Mountain West, has to deliver a TV deal right now, as soon as possible. I don't get the idea the Pac-12 is close. I think they may know who it is. I think they're trying to figure out the total package now. And I think, as I told you before, I think they're trying to figure out if a fast channel works. Free ad-supported television. A fast channel is where you flip on your Samsung or Roku TV and you can go to the Pac-12 channel. And it's all Pac-12 content all day long. And I think the biggest issue is with somebody like the Mountain West. You need your games on ESPN Plus. You need your games on I think you need the ability to be on every TV and every phone possible. That's what you need. And I think that CBS offers that to the Mountain West. CBS has a fast channel. CBS has a streaming component and a significant one. CBS HQ or whatever that's going to morph into. Fox Go.
Nothing there right now.
But FS1 is a significant platform. Anyway, all of this to say, yeah, I don't think there's room for both of them in the pool. I don't. I really don't. Tanner. Hey, at least BDM's other guy, Josh Allen, is getting hitched to the smoke show, Haley Steinfeld. Yes,
Not
he
wrong.
is.
Not wrong.
Utah will own the Super League. Very well could, just like they own the... Never mind. Lubbock literally stinks. Otherwise, it's great.
Wow.
That's a lot of tortillas melting in the sun. You know. BYU would run the Big 12. Sorry, I'm being a homer, but hey, being a homer is sometimes fun. There you go.
I guess.
Great year for BYU last year. UTEP offers free measles vax to season ticket holders. I mean, how are we having a measles outbreak in this country in 2025? You figure it out. Because I certainly cannot. Brandon Butler, I don't see how any TV package is coming to the pack when they can't guarantee who's going to be in the league if the suits and the payouts don't resolve. I don't know. And we'll see. You know. I'm going to shoot my shot and ask Gloria to the Mountain West Jamboree next fall.
Okay.
I do think no. Jay, 7 million's tough. How do you survive on those numbers in today's landscape?
One of them can.
One of them can.
But again,
because
yeah,
you're not. I don't know.
The Pac-12 can't do a $4 million a year deal. That's not going to work. You like that. That does not work for what you have sold and where you are in college football. That doesn't work. So we can sit here and espouse about how there might be two deals out there, right? One of greater value, one of lesser value. But the reality is, with where the Pac-12 is at, you know, a $4 million a year, $6 million a year deal, that's not enough, man.
No, it's not.
Like,
no, it's not. $7 million a year. Elon leaves that in tips. I'm sure he does. $8 billion cut. Well, it turned out it was $8 million. Business is transactional by definition. It is. Teresa is chasing smiles and glory holes.
Smiles and glory holes.
Could be. Monty Show and Gould have same sponsorship deal with the jacket company. Love my Callaway jacket.
Sorry, I thought it was a puffy.
Yeah, didn't you say puffy yesterday, Mike? I think you did. Big Papa War Machine. We want the network to show us to wake up in the morning. We want the network to show us to wake up in the morning. Does not come across great. No, it does not. Next pack is going to be asking ESPN to tie their shoes for them. Easy. You know.
Yeah.
You know. She's focusing on non-substance when she's emphasizing transformation versus transactional.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have come around to the fact that Teresa Gould can't talk in specifics at the moment. You can't. She doesn't have the advantage that Gloria Nevarez has. And that's the reason I think it's so critical that the Mountain West continue to operate effectively and efficiently. You've added all these schools. You've rebounded well. You've done, I mean, they have not put a step wrong since the exodus of those teams.
Now you just got to close.
Now you got to close. Let's see. Will Big 12 save the pack and take UNLV?
Again, you're at a point, at least for me, where your respectfully, your comments just don't make sense. I don't know what are you asking, dude?
Will the Big 12 save pack and take UNLV? I have no idea what you're talking about. It's because people are more scared of the vaccine than the actual disease. Seems smart. Yeah. I'll take a vax a month if you let me. I like to travel. I like to go out. I am not scared of the vaccine at all. I've had how many? I've had, an acquaintance of ours got shingles.
What?
Our one of the guys that has done a lot of my tattoos, Bobby Real.
Really?
Got shingles.
It vexes me.
Dude.
I'm not here for shingles. Oh, that's right. I'm vaxxed. And you know what he said? Yeah, I should have gotten the shingles vaccination. Yeah, you should have.
Apparently vexed.
Yeah, you should have.
Bro, that's really tough, man.
Yeah, you should have.
That's really tough, dude.
Hydroxychloroquine.
Dude, I'll take every vaccine you want to give me. I am not scared even the least bit. Even the least bit. Brandon Butler, can we make Gould say MMM, bork, bork, bork? Make the Muppet dance. Wow.
Okay.
Hot, puffy chest wear is in fashion right now. Not hot, hot.
I think that Callaway wear is beautiful, bro.
It's good for golf. Jake and I are going to have a par 3 contest tonight. Should we live stream it?
We could live stream it. Yeah. We could.
Maybe we'll live stream it. We'll live stream our par 3 on the simulator tonight. You know, I'm saying. Noel Ramirez, I'm convinced Andrew is someone's kid using their parents' phone. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
If the Big 12 takes UNLV, the Mountain West is done and the Pac wins. See, but that's this is what I don't understand about Pac-12 fans. Why are you rooting for the Pac-12 to end the Mountain West? I don't understand that. You should be rooting for a merger.
Right.
Because a rising tide raises all ships. And I've reported this on the show, and now everybody's reporting it. Television networks have been routinely mentioning, hey, are there merger talks? Have you guys, how are you? What do we? And of course, the answer is no, because they're in litigation.
Mm-hmm.
But you should be rooting for a merger because you put these group of schools together, at least most of them, and you are worth significantly more than you are worth as individual entities. And your games become better games because right now, yeah, it's fine. We've talked about it before. ACC Gumby, Monty, 2 shots, do it live. We'll do it live tonight. Jeremy Bolton, I'd play that par 3 with you if I'm allowed to throw the balls. Well, who doesn't like throwing their balls?
Right.
Where's Sal Capone when you need him?
Right.
TJ Beck, what are your guys' favorite cocktails or beers?
Modelo, bro.
I'm a Modelo guy. There's only 2 things I drink: Modelo and Jameson Irish whiskey. That's it.
Yeah. And
right now, Jameson Irish whiskey orange.
Phenomenal.
Which
Phenomenal.
I have 3 bottles at my house, and I haven't had a glass in a month. I do stupid stuff. I just want to throw that out there. I have an awesome hot tub with a hot piece of ass wife, and I never get in the hot tub.
Why don't you get in the hot tub?
Because I'm
Hot
an idiot.
Ass.
I don't know why. Because I'm watching the 4 Nations last night.
Dude.
I'm going to do the par 3 tonight, and then I'm getting in the hot tub.
Smiles and glory holes.
And if my wife doesn't want to get in the hot tub, which she will, because she always does, because it's what we need to do, I'll sit in there by myself. And there will be. And if I'm in there by myself, I will give new meaning to hot dog flavored water.
Wow.
Okay, let's move on.
Wow.
That
bro.
was really awkward.
Wow, dude.
Biologics.
Anyway, Andrew G.
Bro.
I'm someone who works overnight, has their own phone and my own money. How about you? Well, let's not insult each other in the comments.
This is what's funny, though.
You just say stupid things, and you type like a child. You leave words and letters off, and you don't back up anything you have to say.
And then somehow when someone questions it, now you're showing up.
And the flipping, well, hey, man, UNLV's going to the Big 12. Well, just do some simple, hey, if this, then what's the impetus for the Big 12 to take UNLV right now? The money would have to be worked out. Now, of course, UNLV can leave no charge to go to a Power 4. But what would be the correlating responding move from the Big 12? You think they're just going to take UNLV?
No.
And if you're a P4 right now with what the Big Ten and the SEC are doing, are you looking to add new members? That doesn't make a lot of sense. That only brings you more risk. Right? And what does The only thing that could possibly make that make sense is the city of Las Vegas. Because UNLV, what was the number? $21 million deficit in athletics last year.
Yeah.
You're not expanding to, it's why you didn't bring in UConn. UConn would have been a loss leader. Do you really think they're going to say no to UConn and yes to UNLV? It doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know where anyway, we all do stuff. Jason Bin, I'm so sick of Pac fans rooting for the Mountain West to die. It's really a sad state of affairs. These are schools and teams that have had amazing experiences with for 25 years. Why wish for their demise?
Don't know, dude.
I have no idea. I don't know. Rock and rant. Sadly, there's no vaccine for stupidity yet. And I've tried them all. And I am still one of the stupidest people on earth. Ask Pac-12 fans.
Right.
Or Utah State
fans.
I think the guy's name is Aggie Don something or other. Sends me a DM on TikTok like once a week, like asking me. He says something like, "Do you know how stupid you are?"
You know,
Utah State fans are so bitter.
Yeah.
Though even if there were the people most in need of it, they wouldn't take it. No, they wouldn't.
The coronavirus.
I agree. The market for the Big 12, they want basketball games in Vegas. They can have basketball games in Vegas.
They don't need a team in Vegas to play basketball games in Vegas, bro.
Yeah. The money doesn't add up. They don't. Big Papa War Machine. Andrew, just type out why instead of why. That's the stuff I don't understand. It makes you sound like you're 100 years old or a Zoomer, bruh. Paul Bagansky.
Hey, Bagansky, what do you got for us today, bud?
Sorry, Monty. If you care about hockey, hockey is a fart in the wind. Tomorrow, back to NCAA basketball. You're not wrong.
Wow.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong.
It's a fart in the wind.
He's not wrong.
Dude.
I love the Four Nations. I love NHL hockey. The two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Sadly. What brand is your hot tub, Monty? I can't remember. I cannot remember what brand my hot tub is. No idea. It was about 10 G's. And then we had to pay for a backyard rebuild and an electrical install. I don't recall.
It's a great hot tub.
It is a really good hot tub. I'm 100 or a kid. Can you make up your minds? I type what's easier. Right, but it makes you look anyway. Okay.
You can only lead the horse to water. Bro.
University of Utah has plenty of vaccines for stupidity. Jeremy, why choose violence today?
Why?
Why?
You don't always have to be negative.
That's why I call Utah State fans Aggie tears. They cry about everything. Everything. I think people at Utah State are like, we're in the Pac-12 now. We broke the Mountain West. Only they replaced you with UTEP, and they're better off without you. Smells worse. Lubbock? Nope, not doing it. Nope. I like Logan, Utah. Noel Ramirez. LOL, just take your time when typing, Andrew. Nobody is going to beat you to your comments. Trust me. Your comments are mutually exclusive. What's hockey? Don't be a jerk.
Haters.
100 years old doesn't use 100-year-olds don't use why, nor would they know how to use a smartphone.
So I just want to point this out, dude. You're super salty right now, but somehow you figured out how to type messages out properly. So you're proving our point. Like, you're making the point very clear here.
You are proving our point.
Like, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, don't be like...
You don't have to get mad.
Can we at some point just have nice things?
No, we can't. Nope.
You know, let's just have nice things. That's
you are what you are.
I think that's probably the truth. Unfortunately, I think that's probably the truth. Let's see. Tanner Plummer, Utah Hockey Club getting in the playoffs. Hope so.
Yeah, where are they at now?
Well, the standings haven't moved much because they haven't played. They are 6 points off. And they've played 56 games. And the problem is Vancouver's only played 55. So they've got to pass Calgary, who's 3 points ahead. So But we'll see. It would be a great story if they made the playoffs. Someone may beat me to comments. They won't. Trust me. Jeremy Bolton. Hopefully Alex Caruso doesn't try and hide his vaccines when traveling.
Right.
Andrew, please learn how to spell from a school teacher. He's an educator.
And I like how it's now Jeremiah Sullivan champion.
He's a champion of Sullivan.
It's not. Oh my God, dude. Come on, bro.
Okay. Listen to T-O-O.
What the fuck are you, Ranger Rick?
There's too many pieces of toast. T-O, too many. I'm going to go T-O-O to the store.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
Damian Fowler. Hey, Monty, I just finished watching the Miami Vice episode where Weldon, in the wall. Buried him in the wall, Arcaro. Man, so good. So good.
See, bringing up Miami Vice is a guaranteed way to get on the favorability list on this show.
The hit in the restaurant on that, the Ocean Club, the lunchtime hit. I love that all the assassins in Miami Vice were yellow tinted. First thing my wife always says, yeah, because I wonder who the assassin is. You got the yellow tinted glasses on. Love it. Absolutely love it. That or Evan are two of the best episodes. Boyd Lake Ogden, that's where them Dairy Ute Aggies are, right? Exactly.
Oh, they're quite a bit further north.
TJ Beck. Why would the Pac take Utah State with their legal issues? Why buy potentially bad future publicity?
Because it couldn't get anyone else.
They thought Utah State would break the Mountain West, and it did not. Pac can't have nice things. No, they can't. Neither can the rest of the G5. Maybe not. Is Utah State not cool? What they got going on up there? A lot of manure in Logan.
It's not a stretch to say that when you drive through Logan, you can smell it.
Utah State's a great university. Utah State's another one of those feeder programs. Their coaches, their administrators, Scott Barnes at Oregon State used to be at Utah State. Like, the biggest issue is their fans are red asses because they're not BYU.
Yeah.
I firmly believe, and BYU fan in the comments section, please. I think Utah State want so badly to be BYU, and they just are not. They're just not. I got married. Okay.
Nice, dude. Congrats. How long you been married now?
I like it. Grammar Nazis enter the chat. Indeed.
Dude, it's an incredible troll job to be correcting him on his grammar.
Indeed. Well, look who's arrived at the studio. Are you gonna make an appearance on the show, Grum?
No.
What's up, motherfuckers?
Mrs. Marty. Who won't get in the hot tub with me. She won't get in the hot dog flavored water.
Makes me want to puke.
But
anyway,
it's fine. It's fine. BYU State, exactly right.
Right.
Jeremy Bolton. Utah State is the epitome of cool. They are so knowledgeable about football and always make wise decisions.
Right.
Exactly. You can't smell the dairy. You can smell the dairy at Utah State. Yes,
you really can.
Yes, you can. There are more cows than people in Logan. Nothing wrong with an ag town, dude. Nothing wrong with an ag town. A couple more, and then we got to go. Noel Ramirez. Yo, spoilers. I might decide to watch one day. I think my wife is pretty generous with my TV viewership. We watched a hockey game she had no interest in last night, frankly. And then she allowed me to stay up past my bedtime last night to watch overtime.
See, this is what I don't understand. You texted me saying you weren't going to make it to the end of the game.
Oh, I was sleepy. There's no doubt. In the second period, okay, so here's my life. I should be in the hot tub having deep, life-altering conversations with my wife.
Oh, okay. I thought we were going to a different situation
I'm
there.
sitting on, shut up. I'm sitting on the
Stay hard.
Couch dozing off, and my wife is like trying to prop my head up. She's like, time to go to bed, little Timmy.
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
Let's drink a glass of warm milk for your tum-tum. I was like, hell no. I'm staying up. Did you do your homework? Did you say, well, no, she would never ask me if I said my prayers. Did you stretch? because we stretch every night before we go to bed.
Again, family program, dude.
Stretch is different than Gabe. But the point is, she was like, time to go to bed. I'm like, dude. It's like, all right.
Bro, Connor McDavid's on the tube. How can I go to bed?
Because my wife, as a hot ass woman, takes like an hour and 50 minutes to get ready to go to bed.
Hot ass.
The stretching, the makeup removal, I'm asking for something to be thrown at my face. But the point is, I actually stayed up late last night. My wife would much rather watch the Flipping El Musas or whatever show.
She likes hockey. She had no interest in that game.
Not no interest, but you know what the truth is? My wife would rather not watch TV. She'd rather play Uno. She bought some. There's not a lot of great television, if we're just being honest. I'm watching the Lakers game last night. I'm watching hockey overtime on the TV. I'm watching the Laker game on my phone. My wife would just rather not have a TV. Like the TV.
Yeah, so you gotta.
I'm bitching at my wife yesterday about how the TV in my studio broke. Right, we build this state-of-the-art broadcast facility, and my Samsung TV broke. And she's like, "So,
I want better fucking execution."
So she doesn't give a rat's ass what's on TV. And then there's old Sporty McMarty who's like, "Oh, wait, garden variety meaningless NBA games on, I'm here for it." Right? I did cook my wife dinner last night, which is to say I microwaved some potatoes we had in the refrigerator. Bro. But my wife seriously would rather play Uno or do a puzzle or just, we have great conversations. Tonight I am going to do my little par 3 thing and whatnot. I'm going to get a glass of Jameson and I'm going to sip it in the hot tub tonight. And if she wants to get in the hot dog flavored water, she's more than welcome to do that.
Well,
the
rack attack.
She's sitting like 5 feet to my left.
Hot dog flavored water.
Yes, it's
water.
Marty, you in the doghouse? No.
Nah, he ain't
Not
in
at
the
all.
doghouse.
I'm not
What
in the
you know what you need? You need a MacBook that you can watch YouTube TV on while you play Uno. That's what you need.
No, I just need to not watch TV.
Yeah, but see, you don't get that luxury doing a show. You have to watch TV.
And my wife embraces it. We're going to spring training in March. And my wife made me promise I would not bring my golf clubs. Made me promise I would not bring my golf clubs. And now she's like, hey, you do what you got to do because the show is changing significantly. Like my wife is not difficult to get along with. I wish she was a little more conservative so that we could, vote for JD Vance on
a first team all eyeliner.
If I ever voted for JD Vance, I would be dead before the ballot hit the mailbox.
And with all due respect.
Well, Marty, we don't mail no politics on this show.
Yeah, we don't do politics on the show.
The point is, I would much rather have a simpler life. I think not watching TV and having conversations is way better than anything that's on TV. Well, Chicago PD. Let's not get carried away. Or the assassin on Miami Vice. That's where this started. My wife and I, God damn, I hate Grubhub.
Oh, boy.
So yesterday.
Oh, dear.
Yesterday.
Oh, dear.
It was, and I know this is hard to believe, it was snowing and raining and icy in Utah yesterday. I'm sitting in the office ready to have some lunch. There's a Chipotle 10 minutes down the road from the studio.
At most.
I'm not going out in that weather.
Come on.
Order Grubhub. Honey, you want some Chipotle? Yeah, sure. Bada bing, bada boom, do.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be here in 20 minutes. For $47. A burrito and a burrito bowl, $47. Anyway. Okay, I get the text. Because we text. I get the text. The driver has picked up your order at Chipotle. Okay. It'll be here in 5 minutes. It says 12:05. I'm doing my thing. It's 12:07. I look at and it's not here. I get another text. Your order has been delayed.
Oh, boy.
Bet you weren't expecting this one.
So Mrs. Marty and I turn on the computer thing. You can track your order on Grubhub. Not only is he not 10 minutes down the street, he is up in the East Bench in Cottonwood. He's picked up my food and he's driven to Cottonwood, which is from Lubbock, it's Fort Worth. Like, he is on the other side of the moon from the crib. And so I'm like, okay, now it says 1 o'clock, he'll be here. We're watching him go down the freeway and we're like, okay, he's going to take the belt loop down the 15. He's going to show up at my house.
No.
Going down the belt loop, he's at the 15. I'm like, all right, he's going to go south. No. He takes the belt loop out, and we're just watching him drive away to Legacy Parkway. I get on, my wife's like, okay, there's a support button there. Go ahead and hit the support button. They want to give me $5 in a refund for my troubles. So then, of course, you got to jump through the hoops of answering the questions, get denied talking to a human, then they let you talk to a human. He's like, oh, yeah, sorry, we're going to refund your order in total. Thanks.
Dude.
So then not lazy Mrs. Monty went and picked it up. Why do I order food? Why do I use food ordering services? Why not just get your lazy ass off the chair that I sit in for flipping 10 hours a day? You know, and here's the crazy part. Go outside. I know.
Now, I know that from a vehicle standpoint, you've only got a tiny little scooter that you can go to Chipotle in, right?
Yeah, because in bad weather, my, Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit, which is designed for the worst weather conditions at the summit, which is the peak of the mountain, Andrew, because I know you don't speak English. I'm kidding. I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee Summit with cross climate 2s on it. Weather is no issue until you're lazy and you don't want to leave the house. And then it becomes an issue.
Dude.
And I don't know why I spend my time on Grubhub. I don't. I do not. $47. And then I reorder it. It's $32. And she goes and picks it up.
What an idiot.
Just saying.
Fact of life, dude.
Just saying.
Fact of life.
Or get crazy, eat at home. But I'm out of chicken nuggets now. So there's going to be ordering of lunch today as well.
Are you going to get another Paladin or?
I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm probably not. I really got to get serious about I'm doing too much talking and not enough doing. I need to stop eating processed food. My wife is like busting her ass for this 10K run. I don't get it. She's doing like this 10K run. Then she's doing this triathlon in Hawaii. Then she's doing this race where you get on Jeffy's blue penis and fly to Mars. And do a lap around Mars. You get back on the penis.
Yeah, that's called NASA, Monty.
He shoots his shot back to Earth, and you swim in like a nasty.
Who is he, Sal?
You swim in Tempe Town Lake, and
disgusting.
She's doing like you're making me look bad. She's doing cardio. She's like doing these hour-long swimming sessions. Like, who swims for an hour? Who are you, Nemo? What is this, Lion King? And then there's me, like, won't leave the house to even go get Chipotle for 5 minutes. Oh, my God. But then again, we did walk all over creation in Seattle last weekend, which was one of the most enjoyable things. Bro, before we leave here, let me continue bitching about my terrible life.
Here we go.
I'm having hot flashes, and I just can't figure it out.
Well, you are fat old dying Mormon, so,
True. And I'm already in hell because it's not real.
Right. Right.
I'm having hot flashes. I don't know how to explain it. I woke up at 2:08 this morning. Do you guys understand? I've sweated so much at night that I've had to change my pillowcase. And last night I wake up like I'm in the flipping Traeger in the backyard. And I have no idea why. I'm not drinking alcohol. My caffeine stops. This is it. 1 can. My caffeine intake is now over for the day. And it doesn't matter. I'm drinking. Yesterday I had a glass of lemonade because certain idiots in this world brought lemonade to my house for Super Bowl. And now I'm just on it like it's, You know, like I literally am drinking so much lemonade. I think I'm sticking a needle in my veins and just straight, like I should just do it straight into my heart.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm drinking
Need all
it
the shots.
like it's survival. Anyway, I'm having hot flashes. Yesterday I had 60 ounces of water, not nearly enough. So, but if I drink 100 ounces of water, I'm pissing like old man Fred in the middle of the night. now there's no pissing in the middle of the night because we're so dehydrated because we sweated our life out onto the pillowcase.
He's pissing in a different way.
Good Lord. And it's not that I slept poorly. It's just I woke up in a swimming pool and I just don't like, can we just not have old man syndrome? Can we not have hot flashes?
No.
Can I stop eating food? We farted each other out of bed last night.
You farted each other out of bed last night? Bro, what are you guys eating? Dude.
I'm not eating anything I don't usually eat. She made me amazing oats. Mrs. Monty makes the best oats. But I had my half cup of oats, which I have every single day. And I don't know if it was the Chipotle. I have an extra long colon.
Stay hard.
And so it doesn't process that quickly. But dude, there was some farting smelling like old wet pasta.
Bro,
that was terrible last night. Last night, you want to know why I think my marriage is fine? It's not because I'm like some stellar husband. I'm not. I'm freely admitting I'm not. We joke around last night. We're playing, like, we actually like spoon cuddle, whatever you call it. My wife is like, okay, if you're going to play the big spoon tonight, don't choose violence. Because like I'll poke her or I'll tickle her.
Program.
Right. You know, sheathe your sword. But like we were joking around, like tickling each other. Like we were just playing around. You know how
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
We're not like having sex or anything, but we're just like we're laughing with each other. We're having a good time. Right. And my wife does these 5 to 20 minute stretching sessions on her Peloton app. While I'm watching TikToks and looking for non-sports content on the show. And the dog is like sleeping like there's no tomorrow under the blanket. And then
until you farted his ass out of there.
No, I didn't even. What happens is our routine is I'm looking for content on my phone. She's doing her Peloton stretch. The dog is passed out in the bed. She's done stretching. She takes the dog and puts him in his bed downstairs. We close the door, and then generally I'm out within 7 seconds. I must not, and maybe not dead asleep in 7 seconds, but I am in deep sleep within 10 seconds.
Right.
Like it's over. That's my nightly routine. Then last night, we're just like playing around. Dude, I let one go that was the worst smelling. Dude, you'd have thought we lived in Logan. It smelled so bad.
Doesn't get any more red, white, and blue than that.
It was horrendous. And then my wife, because she's highly competitive, she put out some wet pasta that's stale and old. That Jesus, like my God, I just want to know. I want to know what fungus did you put into your intestines that produced that thing?
Maybe that was some dry age material.
But you know what else was really good? If you're ever in Seattle, the butcher shop or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the butcher block.
Their macaroni and cheese, my God.
Yeah.
I know it's crazy. They actually used penne pasta for their mac and cheese. It was the greatest thing. Anyway, that was the worst. But then I turned into the little spoon because my wife she puts up with a lot of my BS.
That's right, T.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I bought her these awesome shoes for my birthday. It was amazing. You know, my wife is like, oh, did I do enough for your birthday? You know, listen, you took me to Seattle. We had a great dinner. We walked all over town. You showed me the spheres. We looked at the aquarium. I had the best, chowder. I had a bowl of chowder up in Seattle that was really fresh. Had a really good tuna melt. Like, you know, we ate great food. No, you didn't. You're slacking. We celebrated and you took me to an amazing steak dinner where I almost lost my mind over what wet aging was. I felt that my wife was embarrassed that I asked for the chef to come out. I felt so bad. Like, and the guy shows up, and he's probably not the guy you want cooking your steak. He's got like this beard, and he's wearing this apron. I was half expecting him to like pull knives out of his pocket and just be like sharpening a knife up. He looked like a guy that knows how to cook a steak. He was a grizzly dude, and it was good. But anyway, there ended the lesson.
Yeah.
Do I want to know what you guys are saying? Spraying Aggie tears. Exactly right. There are all kinds of studies talking about how couples who fart around each other are much happier people.
Yeah.
This is true.
It is. It is. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. And I'm not even saying it because she's sitting right here next to me. Like, quite legitimately, we have great conversations. We talk about our jobs. We talk about just about everything. We're getting a new couch tomorrow.
Oh, it is tomorrow.
My wife so badly wants to redo the floors in our house. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to pay somebody to do it, but I'm not doing it.
Right.
I think in the summer, we're probably going to wind up doing the counters first because I hate my countertops. I made the mistake of shining my iPhone flashlight on my counter last night before I went to bed. Don't ever do that. Do you understand? I think Mrs. Monty farted on that countertop and left some old pasta there because there's stuff you can't see. The stuff my countertops are so ugly. They're these dark.
Dude, it's granite. Come on.
It's granite, Marty. We have granite countertops, and they're probably not ugly. They're terrible. You can't see anything on there. Whatever that dryness was on the counter last night, right after the lady we have our house cleaned once a month, she leaves and there's like dry DNA on the counter. I'm like, because you can't see it.
Did Sal come through, or
dude? I have no idea what that was, and of course, I'm too lazy to go downstairs and get more Lysol or whatever they're called, Clorox wipes.
Biologics.
So I just wet a paper towel, and I don't know what it might have been. Biologics.
Human or non-human?
Non-human, for sure. The old lady ghost probably died on that counter.
Honestly, that's our stroking guys.
I want new My wife's got this whole design idea in her head because we watch the Flipping El Mooses now, so we're both
maybe we should
designers.
Maybe we should start a Mrs. Monty podcast about renovating the house. Maybe that's what we should do. Just talking through all the ideas, and
she wants to do this brown marble looking quartz, this white quartz with brown veining in it, and she wants to run the slab up as the
slab.
She wants to run the slab up as the backsplash as well. I'm actually here for it because her and I have designed like kitchens and flips, and I'm actually here for it. I think it would actually look good. But then what's going to happen. We're going to wind up redoing the floors, and I'm going to wind up sleeping in the hot tub, and it's terrible. I have
process.
I don't want to do it. Tanner Plummer, Fart Wars, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sharts. Never again.
Right.
Never again. Never, ever, ever again. Ever. Let's see. Gumby. A showroom mini-series about kitchen remodeling. Ooh. Still waiting for the RSL podcast Mrs. Monty promised like 3 years ago.
I don't think that she did promise that, bro. I'm just going out on
I
a
don't
limb
think
here.
she ever promised that.
Yeah, I don't think that was a promise that was made.
All right, so tonight we'll live stream our par 3 competition. I think that will be fun. And we'll have a whole YouTube video about it. If you haven't seen the winter golf series, it's actually doing quite well. I know nobody cares about golf, but the winter golf series has like 14,000 views on it.
Yeah.
Which for us is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, what Gumby says, what time? It'll be 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain. Is when we'll do that. So that should be fun. Chuck B. Been a long time since Wedge Talk. Just saying. Too long, Chuck.
Yeah.
It's been too long. But the golf swing's looking good right now. We're banging driver a little bit right now. Like the golf lessons have worked out well.
Yeah, it's coming along, dude.
Yeah.
It's coming along.
It'll be fun. And hey, you know what? Maybe Maybe. I don't know. And maybe we'll do we need to, for everybody who lives in Utah that golfs, like we've golfed with Jeremy Bolton.
Yeah.
Although, dude, I was looking at old videos of my swing yesterday while not talking to my wife sitting on the couch. Good Christ. My swing 2 years ago was not a golf swing. It was me throwing a club head at the ball. On this channel, right? Yes, on this channel tonight. 6 Pacific. Thanks. That's it. Just marble. No it's quartz that looks like marble.
Yeah.
Way better. Jeremy Bolton, no, I thought you were talking about my swing because you'd be 100% correct. My swing 2 years ago was terrible.
Yeah, but how many of us actually golf on the channel? Like we
how many people here and where is our best golfers are probably not here, but it's fine. Yeah, who on this channel golfs? Who watching the show right now? All 1170 of you. Hello, Twitter.
Have we hit the like button today?
Yeah, have we hit the like button at all today? No, we have not. We have over 2,000 views and only 61 likes.
Come on, hit the like button, guys.
Please do that. Best golfer's not here. Excuse me. That's exactly right.
Yeah, we got to get out again, Jeremy.
We do. TJ Beck, I do. Nice.
TJ, are you here?
I'd be down to drive the cart. I don't golf. Mrs. Monty golfs and drives the cart. She hates the way I drive the golf cart. This year, my goal is to be fun to golf with. I want people to enjoy golfing with me because sometimes I am not. I don't have, I do, but I haven't been a scratch golfer since 05. Okay. I like it.
No one said you had to
Chuck,
be a scratch golfer.
Chuck absolutely golfs. I'm not a scratch golfer either.
What we're trying to do is maybe put some rounds together with some folks who listen to the show for fun. And there's some content ideas that are coming out soon and, yeah. So we need some people to show up for us.
Yep. Fix hanging back in donuts. I absolutely have. I have. That was my swing last year. I was constantly hitting off my backside last year. Yes, sir. Right here. There's Kim Coulter. You already know I play. Oh, we seriously,
Dude.
Maybe we need to go. Maybe we need to do a golf outing for the show.
St. George, bro.
Maybe we do.
St. George golf outing.
Maybe we do. I'd be down for that.
Is TJ Beck, are you in Salt Lake? Or
Yeah,
where
TJ,
are you?
where are you?
Yeah,
I don't even know where
bro?
you live, man.
Yeah.
Where do you live? I used to until I tore my shoulder up about 7 years ago. Ooh.
That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks. I've been battling a wrist thing, but I got a wrist brace, and it's made all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
It'll be good. I'm in Oregon. Oh, okay.
Oh, you're in Oregon.
Well,
Okay.
you do have a helicopter, apparently, so.
Yeah, just,
We need to come and play. We need to do something golf. We definitely do. We're trying to do a lot more golf content. There's a lot of change coming to the show. We'll tell you about it. Mr. Preston, I'm down for a golf outing. Let's do it.
Let's do it, bro.
Let's do it, dude.
Yeah, man.
I'm here for it. It's getting, as bad as the weather was yesterday, this weekend's going to be in the 50s. Next weekend's going to be in the 60s.
Yeah, spring's here, bro.
Brandon Dunes is exactly where it's at. Exactly right. What's the one in Canada I've been wanting to go to? There's one in Alberta. I can't remember what it's called. It's so beautiful. Dude, there's so many places I want to go. Let's all run a Spartan race together. Shut up.
Nah, I'm
Shut
good,
up.
dude. We'll leave the push-ups for you, bro.
Mrs. Monty's like, yes, let's do that. 10K. TJ Beck, come on out. Exactly. A Monty Show golf charity event. We should. We should do a basketball tournament.
Listen, dude, I've played church ball. You don't want to do that.
I miss the days of you dropping shit talking basketball players. Jake's actually got handles.
Yeah.
Don't forget, America's favorite daily fantasy app is Prize Picks. Prize Picks, the official daily fantasy app of the Monty Show. A push last night, by the way, in Four Nations. I just needed Sidney Crosby to do anything.
Yeah.
And he couldn't.
Yeah.
Push last night. Download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. That'll get you $50 when you deposit $5. They'll give you $50 instantly. NBA and Major League Baseball are here. I cannot wait. Spring training's coming. Maybe we do an Arizona golf outing at spring training.
Yeah.
Who's down for an
in
Arizona
Phoenix?
outing? we have some Cubs tickets we could potentially give away.
Giggity.
Yeah. A Monty Show game of horse. Guys. If you could get Alex Caruso, Kim Coulter says Fury Creek Golf Course outside Vancouver is fantastic. I can't remember the one. I wish I could remember the name of that golf course, and I can't, obviously. But I love Brandon Dunes is absolutely a must. It is absolutely a must. But I want to say it's in Alberta. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's not worth it.
It's not a big deal.
But yeah, who's down for an Arizona outing during spring training? I think we're going to be there the 21st, March 21st, something like
17th
that.
to the.
No, it's 21st. Not 17th.
I always say 7. It's the 21st. Yeah.
Yeah, 21st. A Monty Muay Thai tournament. I'll get my ass beat on that.
Yeah, no.
90% of people would leave with broken ankles or legs. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm good.
We should do a Sepak Takraw tourney. No. People dying. Oh, Canada. Yeah, Tim Hortons. I think my wife has had Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is one of the most underrated brands ever. Anyway, download the Prize Picks app. Use the promo code Monty. You get $5. You deposit $5, they'll give you 50 more instantly. Hell of a week on the show. Appreciate you guys. Always good. Even the people who aren't good. Andrew, I appreciate you being here, man. Even guys like the ghost of Fabio. Appreciate you guys being here, man. Let's figure something out, golf. Tonight, 7 o'clock Mountain, 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern. Live right here on this channel. A little par 3 competition we'll try to have. Stick around. Good to see you guys. The Monty Show is always presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.